live on TikTok. We're live streaming on YouTube. There's nobody in the live yet, so. Which is fine. I haven't been live on YouTube in fucking forever. But we're live here on TikTok, and I'm live on TikTok often enough. Music might be a little loud. So this is a lot. Hey Blair. Welcome everybody that's joining into the chat. I just started this. We're also streaming on YouTube, so you'll see me go back and forth between here and YouTube. All right, so Spirits called me to go live today. There's a message. It's the you in verse. All right, this is you in rhythm and harmony. And taking all of this esoteric wisdom that has been revealed to you, all right, and getting you in that journey of seeking and discovery and putting it into application or wholeness. It's really what this call is about today. That's what the call is about today. It's gonna be so weird going between two cameras. Although there's nothing really going on YouTube. Oh, welcome. I guess there is one person. Hello. 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 All right. Thank you for inviting. Yes, welcome. So, I don't know, can you guys see this quite well, or is it a little bit hard to see this? It's trying to do it to where you can see it all in the real time, because we're going to do some real time drawing. Okay. I'm not going to get too, oh Jesus, we already have fucking, oh Jesus. I already have bots and fucking trolls rolling through, like, come on. As if. All right. Okay. So welcome. And thank you guys for being here again, for the likes and the hearts and all the followings and everything. But today, the universe, source, spirit, our spirit wants us to break down and make this a little way more practical. So all of your esoteric knowledge is fucking grand. It's fantastic, but not whenever you're not using it appropriately or applying it to your daily life. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of bullshit. Okay, so yes, seeking is fantastic. Getting all the esoteric wisdom is wonderful. Esoteric just meaning that it's hidden from the level of the profane, okay, of your everyday person, okay, the regular, ignorant, animalistic person. All right, so once you start in your journey, in this journey of esoteric seeking and whatever path that is for you, it's all different. We come in different places. There is a lot of distraction in that. There's a lot of misguidance in that, but we just want to make it practical. Okay, so we're taking, well, me specifically, the way I teach, I use a myriad of tools of wisdom, teachings. I'm a Raja Yoga instructor, teacher, so it's mental yoga, and I use astrology. I use Sidereal, where the planets are, like everybody has ever done in history, is you look at where the planets are located in the Sidereal, okay, where they're located in the heavens, all right? And that's how we track the planets and the greater cycles, okay? Even seasons change, okay? I'm sure you've all seen the old maps where there was no ice anywhere, okay? So our perception as a collective whole creates the environment that we experience on all levels, psychological, emotional, and physical. So seasons do change, but what doesn't change, all right, are the heavens, okay? So the luminaries, the planets move. The planets move, all right? And we're not form, okay? Form and structure, Saturn, okay? That is, or the physical realm, that's also mutable, It's not fixed. Nothing is fixed. Everything evolves. That's what evolution is, okay? That's why the planets, when they're moving, it's called making an evolution, a revolution, an evolution, okay, around. So sidereal astrology is true astrology to where the planets are in the real time. Now you can use true sidereal or you can use regular sidereal. I don't give a shit what midpoint you want to use, okay? You're a life, well, I don't even believe in life paths, my dear. I don't play into any of that numerology shit because the calendars are incorrect. We've had 1,000 years added after the second coming of Christ. That's already happened. We're in the end time, and numerology is absolutely incorrect. We're not in the year 2026 either. So this live may not be for you, okay? So we're taking all of the confusion and delusion, all right, and all of the old limitations that have been placed onto your mind through indoctrination, through belief systems, through constructs, okay, and conditioning. And there's also, this shows up in the collective hive mind. Well, everybody else is doing it, so it must be right. No, just because there's a billion idiots doesn't mean that there's a billion smart people, okay, or intelligent, or people that think for themselves. There's a lot of sheep out there that follow a lot of fucking wrong people, or people that are misguiding. They're called false prophets, okay? So this is a world of energy, what we exist within. It is a dream, okay? And you're not the physical body, okay? The consciousness isn't even in the body, all right? It is radial, all right? Your identity, the ego, which is the face, okay, the character, all right, that is developed based on the scene that you are placed into upon incarnation, and also the inherited scripts from your lineage, all right, their belief systems and their environment that they perceived, and that is stored in your cellular memory, all right, in your DNA, in your blood, okay, and those scripts, okay, all the scripts, okay, your DNA has the ability to run the scripts in multiple different lenses. And so the more tuned, fine-tuned your energy vessel is, the clearer the messages are, and the clearer your lens of perception is. This is why many people spent lifetimes, incarnations as monks, seeking enlightenment to break these chains of Saturn, of limitation, of form, from being held by these generational curses, is what we refer to them to this day, modern day terms, okay? So when you fine tune your DNA, okay, we hear about having fractured, being fractured, okay, or soul fragmented, all right? So when you're fragmented, this just means that your DNA, your antenna, and your scripts are running from their confusion, oppression. They're running from their they're projecting or experiencing reality from a shadow state, from a low vibrational, fear-based projected reality. So as you come more into wholeness within yourself, the body, the greater body, this reorients your vibrational, your genetics vibrational receptivity. Okay, so light is everywhere, consciousness is everywhere and everything, all right? And we are little vessels, little antennas that go around putting radio signals out, okay? And although, yes, we are 99.9999999% empty, okay, we're space, this vessel this gear that we're in has all of these minerals that are fizzing and fusing together, all right, which is light. They're just different wave variations. It's all it is wave variations. Thank you. Welcome to the club. They're different wave variations. Okay, so it's subatomic particles, but that's if you see it in form, but they're really not. Particles are actually waves. They're sound. Okay, so but the minerals. Okay, we're gonna get not too big. Try to keep it in local so that we can bring focus and practicality, like I said, to this human experience and all of the esoteric wisdoms that you've been given. So big part of the esoteric knowledge is to know thyself. Okay. Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. I have it on my desk. Yes, I did. Yes, I do. Very well. Yes. Okay. So the planets are metals, okay, or they're conductors. You can see them as gods. They have frequency octaves of expression, and they are connected to you. When we hear about the angels mating with men or women, it's the organs. So yes, it can show up as a physical manifestation in the world of manifest. Okay, but these are talking about the planets or the wandering stars or the fallen fucking angels. Okay, because that's what they are, coming here and merging with the human vestiges, which are the organs. Okay, organs, you hear this, music, organs. Okay, so the planets have a personality, they have a soul, and then they have an oversoul. Or we can call that AM, FM, and XM radio. These are stations of expression. Just like you have a personality, you have the soul aspect, and then you have the higher self, okay, or the oversoul. And they're all connected to the one. It is just a greater body coming into wholeness after being in independence or codependent, and then independent, and then interdependence, okay, and wholeness and unity consciousness. So we're coming out of duality and out of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. All right, and we're returning to wholeness, to the state of Eden, the Garden of Eden, okay, which is within us. It's a state, right? Get that word, estate. The word estate, you are an estate, a state, state, state of awareness, state of mind, and your state of mind is your experience, okay, to which you will feel, because everything is sensual. That's how, right? We are the antenna that brings in and radiates out this whole totality of this reality. It is truly just a hologram of blankness, and you see that or observe that in the moon, which is not a false construct. Nothing is false. Everything is here for purpose, even opposition, oppression, everything is with purpose. Source is fully aware of the dream to which it is dreaming. And there is cycles of this unfolding or awakening from the dream. Every root race is source going to sleep and having a dream, and we're the little minions in the dream. And then there's a cataclysm, or source wakes up, we wake up, and then we do it again, and again, and again, and again. And each time that we've gone to sleep, and I say we as the greater being, each time that we've gone to sleep, all right, we go into deeper levels of ourself. Okay, experience the one, experiencing the fullness of the one. All right, and we are the many faces of this experience. Now, a day of Brahma, or the one source creation, is like a 1,000 years. 1,000 years. One day of Brahma is 1,000 years for us down here in the bitty, 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 bitty. Everything, so like a blink, in a blink of an eye, right? It's so slow. The cosmic being is blinking, but yet we've experienced 1,000 years because we're in this hyper drive. Just like whenever you go to sleep and you've had a dream, you can have like 3 or 4 dreams, and you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I had experienced an entire lifetime in that dream. Yes. Yes. And isn't it beautiful? Nothing to fear. It's a dream. But our job is to become, well, there's a lot. It's not a job. I don't like using that word because that job requires work. And maybe it's work, but it can be play. It doesn't have to be work. It doesn't have to be hardship. It can actually be play. It can be magical, because when you realize that you're a sensual being, when you're sensing everything, it's your choice. Happiness is a choice. Okay? It's a state of choosing, a state of being. Now, when we're out of sync, out of kilter, out of rhythm, okay, with the cosmic whole, this is due in part to the all chemicals in our body. I don't think that had to be so far away, maybe. Okay, the all chemicals in our body. I am going to, there we go, unmirror. There you go, so you guys can see it. Yay! Okay, so we are all chemical. Alchemical. You guys can see it clearly over here. What do we got? Hey, Michelle. Welcome. Hello. I'm going to put great to have you all here. Okay, great to have you all here too. I know I got 49 of you guys here in this live right now. If you guys can like the heart. You don't have to donate anything. Just give me hearts, okay? Get this out there, if you will. I'm also going to repost this to my Patreon, like I always do. This one will be available on YouTube because I'm doing it right now, streaming on YouTube. And then this specific video right here, I'll put it on my Patreon. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay. So it's all chemical. So when you're out of kilter, it's because your chemicals, which are the signaling in this avatar body, are out of kilter. So your state is thrown off. Your estate, like not paying your property taxes. Okay, if you don't pay your property taxes, you're kicked from your estate. All right. So you can see how the spiritual, the physical, the mental, all right, in the emotional state, all correspond to each other. So you can look at this as a whole in your life. Everything is a mirror to an extent. So if you are physically out of kilter, you are emotionally out of kilter. Like if your money is off, all right, then your finances are off, okay? Then your energy, your emotions are out of sync, okay? If you're spiritually misaligned, then your mental and your emotional and your physical, everything becomes out of alignment. All right, now there are obviously, I know when you hear that, you're like, well, my finances aren't reflecting the multimillionaire that I desire to be. Well, then there's a subconscious going on, okay? I know that these what we call evil beings on the world stage have lots of money, but they are piss poor in soul, okay? Their soul will reincarnate and reincarnate and reincarnate. They go nowhere. Most of them are hybridized anyways. I gotta watch my words on TikTok. So they're hybridized. So the archons, or the first creations, prior to the creation of the Homo sapien, or the human, the light of man that we are today, that was established in the third root race of Lemuria, okay, and brought into the physical it was semi-etheric in Lemuria, but brought into the physical manifestation in the Atlantean time period. But this was all intentional. But anyways, before, okay, in the Polarian and the Hyperborean root race creation, there were primordial beings that were not really primordial beings, but they were beings that were created. We call those, the Gnostics call that the archons. And they could not hold the consciousness or the mind of God. Okay, they were abominations. And so they were allowed to kill themselves off, and they were not allowed to take reincarnation again. So they just floated in the astral plane, the emotional plane, and which is what they're meant for anyways, but I'm not going to get too deep into that either today. I feel like it's going to be a huge universal history lesson right now. But anyways, okay, so they were formed, they're locked into the astral, okay, the astral plane, astral entities. I'm getting attacked by astral entities. I'm having all these dreams and I'm being attacked. Well, hybridization, the dark magicians in Atlantis, due in part to our collective choice with the one. We don't have no fucking choice, but God was like, I'm gonna descend even lower. How are we gonna do this and play it out in schematics? We're gonna descend in consciousness. That's what the fall is. It's to descend even deeper into consciousness. So the black magicians, that, you know, the little characters that God had play out the evil, okay, the good versus evil, that started with Atlantis, and that became like the fall of Atlantis and communing with the demonic realms. You gotta think of like God having a good angel and a devil on his shoulder, and like doing a little fucking jig, having a little dance, having a little conversation with the light and the dark aspects. Okay, and this is all anthropomorphized in mythology, in legend, and story, and lore, and symbolism, and we can see this repeating through history. Okay, and so this descent, all right, brought the dark side, and everybody has incarnated as playing a role as dark, doing devious shit. And the beauty of the amnesia is that you don't remember it, because then you would be paralyzed and your soul essence wouldn't necessarily grow. All right, so you have to accept that you have dark and you have light. They both exist. The same shit that's going on the world stage has always existed. This is Baal worship, Saturn worship. This is the Old Testament. Whoa, I'm the only God that you guys are going to pray to. Suck my dick. Part of my language. I'll keep it PG. Okay. There's more gods, but Saturn's like, I'm the only one. Give me your children. Which is symbolic as well. But then you have fools and you have archons that want to incarnate because God said you're not allowed to. Well, they're like, fuck you. There was my word again. We're going to create hybridized vessels and we're going to mess with the God code. Here comes gene modification. It's called CRISPR today, but it's always been around since Atlantis. All right, nothing new. Nothing new. So that these archons, or the first creations, we see this anthropomorphized as the battle of the Titans, the Olympians, the Titans, the fall of the Titans. All right, the war of the Titans. It's the same shit. It was just during, technically, Hyperborea, the second root race. The Polarian root race, the first root race. This was the establishment of the primordials. And then they had their offspring, which could not hold the light of God. Okay, and so they killed themselves off. They end up being the archons, the floating spirits in the astral. All right, or what we see as gods. Some are good, some are not good. We say good, not good. They all have their own agenda, and some work with the one, and some still rebel against the one. It is what it is. This is why we have sublimation at the end of the human experience, so that it sublimates and turns all energies, it refines all energies back to source. Thank you. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Okay. And that's not a bad thing. But these archons, they act as jinns, they act as gods, and they want to incarnate into the body. And so there's hybridization, which is what we see, where they're mixing and splicing animals with human, and fish with human, and bird with human, and you name it. All right. Just so that these, and then that's where you get the Rh negative bloodline, because it doesn't have the ability to block phase shifting. Okay. They're not able, Rh negative, and it's not about, I mean, it is what it is. It's harder for them. My mother was Rh negative, so I watched this happen, especially if they drank or did drugs. It's harder for them, okay, the Rh negative, because they don't have the antibodies, and that means their spirit body doesn't have the natural defense and antinodes to deflect, to push out, push away energetic entities, and so they can get phased into easier. All right, so entities, demonic beings, even, I mean, you could say angelic, but angels are, they don't interfere. They understand the laws, the universal laws, and they don't interfere. So when somebody's channeling, like, I'm channeling an angel, and I'm channeling, you know, the Pleiadians, and I'm channeling whatever, no, these are demons. Like, anything that is in alignment with universal law will not interfere with God's design, which is a natural evolution. It is really like the most faithful and who trust in the divinity within them at all costs. Like, what is death? It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just waking up into a different dimensional aspect of the one, you know? So, but those that want to cling to the material realm, to this existence, this one tiny little existence, or have that power and control, you know, obviously in the dream, they will do whatever, sell their soul just to have power and control, or materialism. And that's where we get the word Satanism, Satan, Saturn, materialism. So Saturn is the ultimate ego construct, personality construct of power, control, and greed. All right, that's not, he's not just all, he's a beautiful design, but that's his personality expression. I'm not trying to demonize everything. I'm really not. It's an experience I'm expressing. So if you see that my words might be a little contradictory, well, welcome to the fucking world of contradiction. I mean, you know, it is a paradox being here. And yeah, well, Lucifer is a spark. Lucifer represents Venus. So I will possibly touch on that. Lucifer represents Venus. Venus is the voice of, she rules the throat chakra of the cosmic being, and which is the higher mind. I think I need a different picture board for that. Doodle noodle for visual context. Don't take it literal. All right. So yeah, Venus rules the throat chakra, and she gives light. Lucifer is a spark. Everything is energy here, okay? And so in your body, again, back to these planets. Where was I going with this? Oh, well, we don't want to, the polarity, or the, what was I saying? The paradox. It's like, if you hear me saying something that's paradoxical, it's because it is, okay? So there's not good or evil. There is, okay? There's moral and immoral, all right? But it's all coming from the one. Even though there's archon creations, that's still descent from the one. Even Sophia, wisdom, falling, losing wisdom, that's what that means, losing wisdom, and then having to regain it through your own exploration. It's like leaving your parents' house and throwing all the morals and rules and you know, teachings that your parents gave you out the fucking door and saying, I'm doing it on my own. Fuck what they told me. Fuck what they said. I'm doing it on my own. that's essentially what we were experiencing. And then we descended into the lowest experience, which is the 7th root race, or which we are experiencing right now, the short season of Satan, all right, which represents Saturn, the root chakra. And in order to heal all of the ancestral scripts, okay, we have to experience it. How can you heal a curse, a generational curse, if you yourself don't experience it? And this is how we awaken the root chakra. Okay? We root. This is how we root. So we went from being like Atlantis again is the heart chakra. This is pure coherence. Okay? Pure coherence. Oh man. Pure coherence. That's Atlantean. That's the causal plane. This when we were all experiencing telepathy, unified consciousness, coherence. And then we descended into individuation, or the sun, which is where we get all the Ra, okay, the eye of Ra. Okay, so that's again the right brain, logical eye, individuation. And we have, this is known as the 5th root race. And this was the establishing of the mental plane, okay? The mental body and the cosmic being. Because the cosmic being is becoming a cosmic being. Going from a universe, single, to cosmos, okay? Multiple. So it has, like you, being an individual and then coming into your multi-dimensionality. It is very like we are mirroring God. We are mirroring God's experience. Once you gnosis, once you know yourself, then you know what's going on, because then you know God. Then you know God. And the deeper you know yourself and you can read yourself, then the deeper you know God. Okay? So anyways, back to the fifth root race was the development of the lower mind. Okay, so we came into the Babel, or individuation. All right, many languages, many races. This is the lineages, the generations of Adam, and so on and so forth. There's many different ways to which this story has been told in different epochs, whether it was the Aryan epoch, which is what the 5th root race began with, and their consciousness was fucking high. Okay, they had the technology, they had the awareness, they had they spoke metaphorically, they spoke poetically, they spoke in story and in symbolism, and their language was in harmony, like Sanskrit was in harmony in many other languages, Persian and even Hebrew, which is a branch of, it's the masculine attribute of the Persian, or the, yeah, what is the word? Yeah, Persian. These are tones, so they spoke in tones, okay, tones and sound and harmony and in rhythm, okay, so everything, like they understood energetics and the biofield and wave, okay, frequencies, speaking through frequencies and singing, and which instruments, brass, wood, string, leather, we see drums like leather. They understood the tonality, the frequency that everything held. Okay, and we see this in their temples. And then we descended even lower to which was the 6th root race, and that was ruled by Mars. Okay, and this lowered, we descended in consciousness even more. Okay, yeah, so each root race was destroying itself. It's meant to burn itself out. And then the next race comes from that, from the last vestiges of the races prior. Okay? But it's because of diversity. Okay? And many other aspects that I've already talked about. So we went into the sixth root race ruled by Mars and Neptune. All right. Now, each root race gets shorter, well, epoch gets shorter and shorter. So the longest epoch, which was perfection in Atlantis, okay, that and I'm just talking on the physical side. Will we manifest, will we say physical in this Homo sapien body that we have right now? Biospiritual vehicle. But even this biospiritual vehicle is more advanced than any of the human vehicles. Okay, we're actually meeting the coherence. Our vessel now meets the coherence of that, which of the spiritual atom in the beginning of the Atlantean period. Okay. So anyways, the sixth root race was all about creativity. And we see this in Tartaria, in these hidden megalithic buildings and structures, the harnessing of the free energy, the harnessing of that vitality, okay, of the sacral energy. We see this depicted in all of the imagery of the honoring of the woman, the womb of creation, the Black Madonna. Every generation's given it a different name. It was Isis. It's been Inanna. There's been so many names. Black Madonna, the Shekinah, which, you know, that's the Shekinah is actually the Kundalini energy that rises through wisdom, Sophia, the rise, so Sophia, which is the Kundalini energy or the wisdom that rises like the serpent, okay, up to ignite both hemispheres of the brain, okay, to stimulate that. But we have to have our Ida and Pingala, or the sun and the moon in harmony, the masculine and the feminine energies in harmony within ourselves. All right, so collective root race. The sixth root race and its sub-root races were the shaman. And these were all of the indigenous races that we see almost extinct at this point, because we're at the end of the sixth root race and the beginning of that seventh, which is the short period of Satan, of materialism that we've been experiencing. When the collective consciousness has descended so far from the heart, from the unified field of coherence and harmony, has descended so far south, but down, right? But even that, the South Pole, frozen, okay? That it is what we, frozen, fight, flight, fawn, freeze, all right? Materialism, plastics, the collective doesn't even care, all right, about, well, some of us do. Some of us give a fuck, right? Care about the frequency of the material to which they're wearing, all right? They're wearing plastic, right? They're walking around in those, I don't know, Crocs, the plastic rubber shoes. They got rubber soles. There's no connection to the earth. They're so disconnected, all right? On phones, which we can use in moderation as long as we're not consumed by it, right? Everything in moderation as long as you're not consumed by it. But anyways, you get what I'm saying. So the materialism and Satanism, all right, that's materialism, caring more about monetary gains and status and, you know, money, and instead of caring about your neighbor, like, which is a mirror to you and a cell in the fucking body of Christ, because we're the body of Christ, okay? So this is the short period of Satan. We've been in it for 2,000 years, 2,000 plus years. We track this looking at the epochs. Okay, we track this in the Yuga cycles, the larger cycles. We're in the Kali Yuga. We've been in the Kali Yuga. Okay, so where Kali comes, or which is the emanation of, you know, Shiva and the destroyer, but Kali represents the ego, or the unconscious aspects of us. All right, and we are in, the sun rises currently in real time. This is why tropical astrology is irrelevant. For one, you're not the form, and nothing is fixed. It's always evolving. Motion is always moving, okay? Even in stillness, like when you're at absolute stillness, that's returning to the one point, okay? But from there, all is emanation. It's expression, it's light, it's emanation, it's creation, movement, okay? Where am I going? Stillness, oneness. I got thrown off. Flow cut. Let me have a cup of tea. Yeah, it's been reset more than 3 times though. I mean, there's been a lot of beetle battles, like between each root, like in the root races, but yes, ultimately reset, 3 times. Yeah. We're in the final reset, but this is where you go from the bottom, Saturn, all the way up, okay, to the crown, and we get crowned, and we're restorer. We reboot to our atomic consciousness. Now you have to choose this. We have to choose this. I mean, it's already been done. It's already been chosen. So we're aligning to it. If you're in this live, you're connecting here, you're in alignment to that. Okay. And again, it's already written in our scripts. Your DNA just, you had to do modification within your genetics. You had to heal those curses, those family curses. You never heard it RH negative explained that way? Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I mean, I don't know how that resonated for you, but I hope it landed well. It doesn't make you, good or bad. It just is. It's part of the experience. It was part of the breakdown so that the archons could take body. All right. So the Saturn here, what we have to do is become our own father. We have to become sovereign. All right, unified whole within ourselves, not because of our estate, our physical estate, although that can be a process if you choose, if that's what your coding is requiring you to do. All right, everybody's journey is different. We all are here playing a different puzzle piece. So how I express it may not, land with everybody, and that's okay. How I walked my path is how I was incarnated to walk my path. Everybody's different. That's the interdependent aspect. And ultimately, that's what we're here to become as a 7th root race, is to return to the atomic state, all right, which is interdependence, becoming your own atomic, nuclear, bio-spiritual, toroidal Merkaba, all right? So that you're not influenced by all of the unconscious nature. That's what makes a sage or an enlightened being or a saint so powerful, is their toroidal field. Okay, their biofield, the energy to which they're emanating, the frequency that their toroidal field, okay, is expressing. I'm going to say this word one more time, emanating. We have Mercury in Jinki 41 in Aquarius, in Jinki 41 right now. And it is the city of emanation. What degree is it in? Yeah, it's in 10 degrees and, it's at 10 degrees and 26 hours. So in Jinki 41 line 4. So it has ingressed beyond Venus even. And Mercury rules the ajna. It's the messenger. Well, your ajna has your pineal pituitary gland, and that has the crystals, the piezoelectric crystals, right? And so it's the messenger of the heavenly consciousness. Thank you for joining the club. It has the conductivity, okay? Not only in the hemisyncing of the brain, the right and left hemisphere, it activates the corpus callosum, the center, okay, that yokes both sides of the hemisphere of the brain together. That's why Jesus said, cast ye net to the right side. That's the creative thinking, out of the logical linear thinking. Not necessarily out of it, it is yoking it to the creative, which women scientifically have an easier access to. A lot of the path, the hero's journey, was for the minds of men being, and I don't mean to hurt people's feelings, but biologically, scientifically, female is the blueprint. Okay, this is why men don't get their gender till there's no gender until the 11th week of pregnancy. And the blueprint is women. Men have boobs, or they have nipples, and they have useless nipples. Okay. But it is the XX and the XY. The Y is the mutation. And this also gets described in the fall of Sophia and the creation of the mind. That's man. Man represents mind, and Lemurian, consciousness was feminine, and that connects to the moon. Is another reason why the moon is demonized out here. It's all about the sun. The moon came first. Everything was dark. There was darkness before there was light. So, but the sun is a representation of the mind, and then we had to evolve the sun, okay, through all of these experiences, our personal sun, our personal consciousness, okay, which evolves the planetary consciousness, the cosmic beings' individuated consciousness through our individual experiences, okay, and we had to evolve these lower aspects to bridge all the way back up to the crown. So anyways, Mercury rules, okay, the third eye, and that's which connects us to the gut and intuition and the nervous system. All right. So what you receive through your antenna, okay, your ajna, your head center, what you receive through your energy field, okay, gets fed through energetically, sensually, all right, senses, which is what Mercury does. It senses, your nervous system senses, your biofield senses, all right? Then it's distributed through the chemicals, okay, create. And if you don't have that third eye activated, all right, the pineal, the pituitary, okay, if you don't have these rarefied hormones secreting through your blood, then you could act animalistic, period. Fight, flight. You work from the reptilian brain, or reptilian fight, flight, fawn, freeze. Okay, and which that still exists even whenever you have the pineal pituitary, but once you have those rarefied hormones moving through your body, and you've learned to calm your nervous system and regulate in these stressful environments, and may it be through the path of non-attachment. Nobody exists. Why are they yelling? This is not a big, it's practice. And many incarnations it's taken us. So how you activate it? You live, baby. You live. You listen to this type of wisdom and you apply it to your life. You can become a Raja Yoga student, which is learning to calm the mind, to tame the mind. You can become a yoga student just through practicing yoga, with the body, moving the body and the breath, Kriya Yoga. You are a student of yoga. There's 8 limbs of yoga. That is a great way to start. I prefer Viraja, where it's the mind. I work in the mental field, but that's my coding. You can also get the Gene Keys by Richard Rudd, which are very helpful. I just do not recommend that you use his tropical astrology, pull your hologenetic profile, because it's based on tropical astrology. And I don't align with that because that's not in alignment. So, all right. So Mercury being currently right now in Jinki 41, the city of emanation, and it's in line 4. All right. Line 4 is like the networking aspect of it. Each line denotes a chakra center, okay, and the first being the root, the second being the sacral, the third the solar plexus, the fourth line is the heart, the fifth line, the strongest line, is the throat, is the voice, is the fifth line, and then the sixth line is the ajna, the visionary, the seer, the dreamer, the oracle, okay, and so those are the 6 lines of the I Ching and the hexagram. So you can use the Gene Keys, which are a beautiful esoteric tool to assist you in your ascension journey, ascending your frequencies, okay, harmonizing your frequencies, which ascend your perception into the omniscience, God's eye. Okay, seeing it through God's eye, which is Jinki 17. And that's found in Aries. All right. So again, we don't use tropical because what? We are actually not the body. We are the consciousness that it is like whenever the example is, and I use this for myself. Okay, so the example is you just got a game console. Okay, say it's Xbox. And you're like, here, you're going to play this Xbox game. And you're like, I don't know how to use this fucking remote. I'm used to a PS5. Fuck it. I'm used to Nintendo 64. Fuck, you know what I mean? Like, I'm used to Nintendo. Like, I don't even know how to work this, right? So that's what happens. Like, that's the kind of energy that we've entered into. Like, we've incarnated into such a deep collective amnesia. Okay, such a dystopian reality that most people don't remember how this system operates. So we've grabbed fragments upon fragments upon fragments from different epochs and different cultures that did remember, because again, we began this journey fully conscious and descended into unconscious, which is what the Saturnian period is about. It is about the collective going through a dark night of the soul, meeting its doppelganger, meeting its darkness, meeting Kali. We're meeting Kali. So the unconscious, everything that's unconscious will come to the surface. Okay, that's the saying. If you don't make the unconscious conscious, then you will live your life thinking it's fate. It was just fate. The unconscious will rule you. So tame your darkness, meet your doppelganger, meet the darkest parts of you, accept them, embrace it, embrace it, embrace it. Love it. Back into wholeness, back into the light, because within every darkness, there is a speck of light. That's why they say to see the God, the beloved in all. That's the power of non-attachment. That's what these sages were meaning, is see the beloved in all, even if they're yelling at you. There's so many different practices that you can apply to your life that get you to slow down, get out of reaction, get out of this emotional reactivity of Mars. So part of healing the planet, your energy centers, is knowing which planet rules what. And there is a lot of manipulation and false information that is pressed out as this is it, and that is it. But you really got to dig it, like saying that this is what this, I don't even align with human design. I do not align with human design. I do not align with the esoteric, what people have put out saying that certain planets rule certain things. I don't align whatsoever. So I dug into, well, my own self, for one. I fucking live this. And anyways, so you dig into lore and you break down the Bible and you break down all of these myths and legends and what the planets mean and what they represent, so there's, again, like I said, each planet has a personality expression, it has a soul expression, it has an oversoul expression. So we operate through the soul because that's what we are. We are the soul. We are the soul. We are Earth's Gaia soul. We are the spirit of Gaia here. We are the senses of the earth here. Okay. Can we DM to help questions I get lost easily? No, don't DM. Because you'll get lost in my DMs. And then, honestly, TikTok fucks with that shit all the time. Like, I don't even get half of them. I have a Patreon. You can join that. And I have classes that I've held over the last 10 years that are all free once you're a patron. And tier 3, I don't remember how I've tiered it out, but you can read the tiers. If you want to be in the group and join the weekly conversation, the weekly Astro Key synthesis, then, join the Patreon. Anyways, but I do have courses and workshops that I've held over the last 10 years that is really dives into more of this. And I intend on sharing more free content here. I get inspired by spirit and then I'll make more videos and then more things. To help create the coherence. I highly suggest you get the Gene Keys book. That's key. Get the damn Gene. If you're going to be in my courses, my courses. Futuristic thinking over here. If you're going to be in my Patreon, you absolutely have to have the Gene Keys book. Okay. So each one of the planets, this is what's important. Okay. Is each one of the planets rule like the function of the organs, and these connect to certain plexus points. Okay. Nexus points, plexus points. All right. Saturn root. It's the root. Well, you got to have the stronger the roots, the deeper down the roots go, the stronger the tree is, the higher to heaven you go. So that saying is the deeper the roots, the higher the tree grows. Okay? The stronger the tree, the higher the tree. Again, that's once we're rooted, we are our own sovereign being. We're not influenced by, we're not emotionally desponded, wavering, okay, in our being. And no matter what, that's like the Joan of Arc when she was like, I'll die, doesn't matter, I know I'm going where I'm going, I know who the one is, I have that in me, and it doesn't matter what happens to me. That's sovereign. Okay? You know that you are source, and that whatever happens here, it just is. It's what happens. Not a big deal. Okay? Because the spirit is what matters, not the physical. What you do in the physical matters to how you show up in your next incarnation. And we see this in the Egyptian rites. Okay? How everybody was all about getting ready for the afterlife. Because what you do here in the physical is a direct manifestation of you getting off this motherfucking wheel of samsara and going and experience a fanciful life in the interdimensional realms. Because you're eternal, you're immortal, and you don't fucking die because you're not the body. Essentially, that's what we're all getting ready for right now. That's it. That's what we're all getting ready for. To die. To transfigure the body. To dematerialize. Some will, and others won't. They'll just bardo out. They'll just die. But they won't reincarnate. Everybody that's out here doing all this esoteric shit, meeting that dark night of the soul, it's to dematerialize. It's to make amends with everything here in the material realm. So you don't reincarnate again. You don't need to, or turn to dust, because there's no more reincarnation. We're at the end of time. We're ending Saturn's physical reign and going back to the semi-etheric. His sister, which is Venus, which is the higher mind, which represents the Buddhic plane, which is the higher mind. This is where all of the ascended masters, okay, they are Asgard, the gods, okay, this is where they all move to. It's a semi-etheric realm. So ending the physical, what we call physical, but the dense, the lead, from lead to gold. Actually higher than gold. Platinum. Going platinum. We're going platinum. That's more than gold, right? I didn't just go gold. I went platinum. So they're going platinum to the semi-etheric realms, where there is goods and yummies and sensual. It's just the pain isn't the same. There will be no tears. There will be no sorrows. There will be no sadness. It's just joy and play, which is great. That's returning to the Garden of Eden. It's a state. Your inheritance is God's kingdom, which is found within you. You can't get into the kingdom of heaven, okay, or the Garden of Eden without going within. You have to go within. So we're all being forced to go within. Hold on, I got this little puzzle piece coming up. Ta-da! Unable to verify. What do you mean? There we go. Okay. So, but it's to shoot up into the etheric experience. So, mineral density, we have to heat up the minerals in our body. I think I'm really all over the place with this. Planets matter. All right, back to, we do have to heat up the planet, the minerals in the body, because that is what creates the higher current. So you got to have the copper, the nickel. Each planet represents, thank you so much for the gift. Each planet represents, who sent that? There's so many comments now. 24 new messages. Oh my Lanta, I missed that. Thank you, Lee. Each planet connects to a metal, all right? And that's about the conductivity, right? Copper is superconductive. We have gold is conductive. It holds high currents of frequency. Mercury, okay, holds the highest currents of frequency. Mercury, all right, Mercury does, because it's liquid, it's malleable, all right, and that's the mind. Then you have copper next, okay, which is Venus, and that's the higher mind or the voice, okay, and then you have the tin, okay, the aluminum, the tin, that's Jupiter. Put your aluminum hats on, blocks the radiation, right, the aluminum. And then you have gold, which is the solar plexus, or I'm sorry, Jupiter is the heart, and that's Zeus. All right, Saturn's sun that he didn't swallow. He didn't swallow Saturn. Okay, but that's the heart chakra, the magnetism. That's why Jupiter is the benevolent. He gives. But what is the heart? It's magnetic. It's expansive. It's giving. All right, so Jupiter expands everything that it touches, good or bad. It's the great giver. All right, magnetism. All right, and then you have the sun, which is the solar plexus. You go from the individual I into the I am presence. I am the many facets of God here incarnate. Okay, so you have to give up your individuation. But it's gold and it's conductive. And then you have Mars. And then you have Saturn, lead. Mars, what the hell is Mars? I just went blank on Mars. Tin, iron. Iron! And that's the blood. And again, that connects us. The blood is the sacral energy, the blood, okay, the womb, all right, and the vitality of your blood, the iron, okay, how iron deficient, are you iron rich, are you balanced in your iron, all right, that's the blood, okay, and the prana, the vitality, and your sexual energy, okay, your creative energy, connecting us to the womb. So Mars is passion or play. These are my words for it, okay? It's passion and play, or it's control and war. And so your emotional state, okay, is when you're dealing with your creativity, is it going to be controlling, contracted? Are you at war with yourself? Okay, and then you have the passion and play, or you enjoy, are you like being creative and you have like this steady stream of creative expression. So again, that the womb of creation, the downloads, the insights, the flow and the joy of it, okay? So Mars deals with your emotional equanimity, your emotional quotient. So how emotionally mature you are. And not necessarily, the emotional maturity, it doesn't mean that you have to act all adultish and be sophisticated and all reserved and acting like a fucking pompous. No, you can be totally jovial and a child at heart. But emotional intelligence is really what this is about. And so are you reactive? How do you respond to engagements with other friends, right? Do you push them away? Do you have to be right? Are you a leader? Are you like, how do you engage with people, right? And that's your emotional intelligence. I'm high emotional intelligence and intellectual intelligence, but that's earned through a lot of hard work and, putting my head into a wall and losing friends and recognizing the ass that I was being, but not realizing that I was being an ass, right? So we have to evolve each one of these centers within ourselves. And then there's Saturn, right? Becoming your own father and feeling rooted and grounded and safe in your body. And that connects, you know, to your sexual organs as well. And, you know, clearing out all of the demons or the desire natures that are no longer serving you, or at least modifying them to that way your desire nature isn't consuming you, right? And that's why we're all meeting Kali right now in the age of Kali Yuga, is so that we're not being consumed by our desire nature, that we have tamed the beast within us, the animalistic primal aspects that have controlled humanity since the fall, okay, of consciousness. So, and that's the establishing, the root, or it's not but I mean the root, I'm sorry, excuse me, the etheric body, reestablishing the etheric body. So, which sits 1 inch off of your skin, if you will. It's 1 inch off your skin, but that was severed. Okay, so Saturn severed. I don't want to draw. I love this drawing, but Saturn severed. let me just do that. It's not even going either. Dang it. Whatever. So we'll just put Saturn here. Saturn, and then this is the physical, right? This is the physical body. Physical body. And then outside of the physical body, I'm going to draw it in purple because that's the color. So we'll just do that 1 inch outside the body. And this is the etheric body, which is the twin to the physical twin, and it's ruled by Uranus. There we go. Who is the great antenna? All right, so in the lore, what happened is we had, I got this again. So Saturn cut off the testicles of his father, Uranus. Okay, so that means the power, cut the power, testicles being power, or the same as the eggs, but it's dropped, right? But anyways, the point being, it was all masculine. It's all masculine because it's all about electricity. So magnetism, feminine, is about drawing things in, whereas electricity is about the expression outward. So feminine is inward. It's the unconscious, unseen energy that's everywhere. And then we have masculine energy, which is the expression or the manifestation of things, or the output of energy. Okay. That's why women, you go in it. I know I'm getting derogative over here, but you go inward. All right. Men are like, out. They plug it in. All right. So anyways, Saturn cut off his father's testicles. All right. Which is cutting off the energy from the physical to the etheric. Okay. And from that came Venus. Oops, that's a pen. I need a marker. Give me the marker. Came Venus. I'm going to put it right there in the throat. All right. Venus. The throat chakra. From the dribblings of Uranus's sperm into the cosmic ocean, which is our heavens, okay, was born Venus from the foam of the ocean, sperm of the ocean, okay? And so this meaning that she has presence, and that's Lucifer, okay, has the most presence in the physical realm, okay, because it is the voice of the divine, of the etheric realm in physical form, okay? So anyways, Saturn cut off his father's energy, which is our etheric body. And so we have to re-yoke our physical to our etheric, even though it's there. I want you to see the image of Peter Pan when he's, just give me something here. I do. I have a sponge. So when you see Peter Pan and he's trying to sew on his shadow, he's got to sew his shadow back onto his foot. We have to meet our shadow so that we can fly and be in Neverland, return to our whole state. So that etheric body is a stage 1 to reconnect to cosmic consciousness. So going from your physical, planetary inner bodies, inner planets. The planets are your inner body, energies, local structures. Okay? So going from your local structure to activating your etheric body, which is your spirit bodies, which connect through Uranus. You have to first re-yoke Uranus, Christ consciousness. You have to first align your inner planetary energy centers, and then when you do that, and you become your own root system, you become sovereign. This will reunite, and then you get expanded consciousness fields, so which get further and further out. Which is you're going to have here is going to be Neptune, and this is the astral, but its higher counterpart is the causal body. Okay. So the lower aspect of the astral, which connects to the sacral center. Oh, my Lanta. Now I'm getting into the deeper esoteric shit. Give me a second. Then you have your Mars. And this is astral, lower astral body, lower. Okay. And this is assisted by Neptune. What the fuck is the symbol for that? Yeah. Don't ask why I had to look, but I did. Anyways, Neptune. Neptune is its oversoul. Mars is oversoul. That is assisting, Neptune is assisting Mars in elevating into becoming elevated to become a sacred planet. So that's all about emotional maturity, imagination, play, joy, and being present with your creativity. So anyways, Neptune. Let me put that in a different color. It's usually in blue, whatever. Now, once you unlock Neptune, which it has ingressed past, thank fucking God. It has moved beyond its conjunction with Saturn. Fuck. Because Saturn limits, it takes you back into its limitations. So he's a stern control. It's all about control, okay? And just perfection. And in everything. Okay, so you got to learn to not be a controlling, warmongering father to yourself. You got to be loving and kind and understanding and compassion. That's why Jesus came in. He's like, Saturn's like, okay, here, man, have my son. Learn some compassion, Jupiter. Have some compassion for yourself. It's not that hard, right? Here. Anyways, but this was all evolution. It was necessary. Even though it was hard for our ancestors. You know what? Looking back on my life, I had to do a lot of hard shit. And I'd be like, my mom made me do this. My dad made me do that. Like I grew up, like I had split parents and then a stepdad. Stepdad was great, but he was a farmer. So I grew up like spraying fields and, like farming, and he was kind. He was very kind and understanding. Now, my real dad, he also was a mechanic, and he had his own farmland, and his dad was like a farmer as well, a smaller farmer. Like my stepdad was a huge farmer. My real dad and my real grandfather had their own like home farmsteads, you know? So I grew up like cutting heads off of chickens and like, you know, gutting my own animals and putting them through meat processors, and it like fucking fucked with my head. I was like, this is wrong, this is evil. And then like in reality, I realized that yes, these things were really hard to go through and experience, especially as a very emotional person that was like, I can't believe I'm like my biological father, the first time I ever had to slaughter I don't know if this is really something I should talk about online, but anyways, I will. The first time I had to slaughter a cow, like it was the most inhumane way to do it, by the way. He was sadistic. He is sadistic, and he is in prison. But like, he pulled the heart out of the cow, and I had to take a bite out of this heart, fresh, right? And, which was, you know, terrible. It was horrible. It's a horrible experience. But hard things, okay? Like I learned hard things, and eventually I just realized like I'm an incredibly strong person because of the hard things that I had to go through in life. The same thing with our ancestors. They went through a lot of hard shit, you know, but they got stronger for it. It doesn't mean life is easy or that these experiences are delightful always. They're not. But if you can continue to keep moving forward and become the better version of you, like I'm definitely nothing like my biological father or my biological mother. Some attributes, both, sure. But on their opposite sides, no, I became the best of them. I chose to, or God gave me the script to, and I kept moving forward. And that's the human experience. We keep moving forward. We choose to be better than the versions of our ancestors were, to their best when they were in their best. And they always were doing their best, or what they thought was the best in the moment. I don't know why I'm trying to give this huge speech on this shit, but god dang, 99 messages. I am so sorry. Hello, welcome. Thank you guys all for joining. 104 people watching right now. Wow. Holy, thank you guys for the likes. We're at 38,000. That's really good. Been streaming here for an hour live now. Okay, so we're becoming the best versions. So Neptune it connects to the astral body, but its function is the causal plane, okay, the heart. It is the greater heart of the cosmic being, okay? And although it tethers to the astral, but each one of the lower, okay, I gotta draw in the sun somewhere here. Each one of the lower, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. We'll make it all yellow. Instead of just a little bit of yellow, we'll make it all yellow. Are you having a dream over there, Ophi? You should, because I'm talking about Neptune. And she is the dream. But in esoteric astrology, Neptune is about the veil and removing the veil. And that's why I was so excited, because Neptune has ingressed it's still in Pisces, which it rules. It's not in fucking Aries. Stop it. It's in Pisces, and it's in Jinki 37, which is the city of tenderness. From weakness to tenderness. Okay? And tenderness is a softening. All right? We have to be soft with ourselves. We have to be gentle. We have to be gentle. Oh, so gentle with ourselves. Let's draw a heart chakra. And, we're going to make a heart. Okay. All right. Okay. Heart. All right. And so we're going to have, oh my goddess. What am I forgetting? Okay, Jupiter, and then we're gonna have the sun. Well, this is the sun. is the sun symbol. Okay. Now where are we at? Okay, back to the board. So, all right, each one of these, so Neptune connects in, so each one of these, the physical body connects into the etheric body. That's its higher counterpart, okay? And the Mars, or the sacral center, connects into the causal body, which is, you know, Neptune connecting into the causal body, all right? And then you have the sun connects into its higher counterpart, all right, the throat. So each one of these will connect to a higher subtle body plane or spirit body. That's how they'll function. So they won't just be operating through their lower nature. They have a higher expression to which they express themselves through. And so Neptune in esoteric astrology, again, like I was saying, she has ingressed beyond Saturn. So the energy of Neptune, or dreams and imagination, and moving beyond the veil of illusions, which is what Saturn does. He creates veils. He limits through structures, through oppression. Or the essence of Saturn limits, or this matrix limits us, our imagination. So now that, you know, and you should have been and that was in Gene Key 55. So Saturn is still in Gene Key 55 in Pisces, in true astrology, sidereal astrology, where the planets are at in the real time, which is what matters, okay? Because we're not the body, and it's not a heliocentric reality that we exist within. It's a geocentric. Everything revolves around the earth, because everything is about Earth's evolution, okay? Becoming its highest aspect, which is going from its physical form, which is Earth, to its etheric form, which is Gaia, which is, well, I'm not going to get into the Keylontic stupid shit of this, but anyways, its higher self, which is Gaia. It's etheric. Okay, so we're called the spirit of Gaia. Then we're just here having an earthly experience, or a physical experience. So Saturn limits us, and Saturn's in Gene Key 55 in sidereal astrology, sidereal, true sidereal. And Gene Key 55 is the shadow of the victim mind. I don't follow Dolores Cannon. Everybody, whatever, you can do whatever you want with her material, but I don't deal with people that pull entities and demons through people's bodies. That's unnecessary. Anyways, but everybody has their experience here and what they're supposed to have. I just don't deal with people that channel, and I don't deal with people that put people through fucking hypnosis, because you don't know what demon you're talking through. Like, the fuck is that stupid shit? I've gone under hypnosis before. It was not, I mean, I've been on it a few times. Real hypnosis to find shit out, to put my biological father in prison. And then hypnosis during QHHT, and that was not a good experience. There was like a whole entity that was working through me, and like I couldn't do it. I felt paralyzed in my body. I was like, this is not okay. This is not safe. This is not, no. But whatever, she got her little waves and her things, and I've heard a lot of Dolores Cannon shit. But it's not something that I fuck with, ever. Nor do I like Bashar, Daryl Inca, who has his hands and everything fucking Holly weird. And then all of a sudden, he went from making all the video graphics for all these sci-fi movies to now he's channeling a gray alien and telling everybody that put your power outside of you. Like, yeah, channel and a gray entity. Yeah. Oh, like, that's fucking good. Like, it's not. Anybody that's out there channeling, I don't care if the Pleiadians, the Arcturians, I don't give a fuck. You're channeling an entity that is interference with God's plan. Go directly to source. That's it. Anything in between is a demon dressed in drag as an angel or helper. It's all, this is a huge test to who is doing the work, which takes time, devotion to yourself, to your experience, to connect to God. It is work, if you will. It's easy to open your vessel up and be like, hey, let's just allow something to to come through for me. It's easy. It's easy to be a channel for an entity and a demon to work through you. It's harder to refine yourself for source to work through you and to trust yourself. That's the thing with people that put entities in the way, is they don't actually trust themselves that what they have to say would be worthy of being heard. They've got to put some headgear on and pretend like, oh, well, I'm chosen because now an alien or an interdimensional being is operating through me. So I'm special and you're not, because the galactic fuckeration is talking and using me. No, bitch. You just have less morals and values and connection to God. You sold out. That's that. That's that. That's that. Anybody can be an empty vessel for any entity or demon to use. All the angelic hierarchy knows not to interfere with God's plan. Those that interfere have their own agenda. And if an angel wants to play in God's game, they have to incarnate and go through the process. Period. Boom, 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 boom. Look at all the hearts. I know you know. Love you. You're welcome. All right. So then when we activate the etheric body, our broadband spectrum goes, okay, you got exosphere. Okay, exosphere. All right. So this is when we're speaking and communing with our higher mind, which means that you're getting clear messages, transmissions, but you have to trust but that at this point, you trust you. You don't need external validation. You don't need, you know that God's using you. You don't have to say like, I'm bringing this in from, this is who I'm talking for. Like, no, you're enough. You are more than enough. And the information that you have access to from the causal plane, which is what Neptune connects us to. So the soul function of Neptune governs initiation through surrender. All right. And in Gene Key, I'm going to pull up, let me open my book. From the shadow of weakness. So that's Gene Key 37. The shadow of weakness, the gift of equality, and the city of tenderness. So from what is weakness, right? So these are the energies that are going to be showing themselves. So when Neptune moved beyond Saturn's limitations of the mind, okay, Gene Key 55 is where Saturn's at right now. So that is the shadow of the victim mind and the gift of freedom and the city of freedom. So once you're no longer victim to your mind, your lower animalistic primal nature, all right, and the collective unconsciousness, the wobbling, all right, and you become free, truly free in your energy, in your mind. Free your mind and the rest will follow. It's the Gene Keys book. The link is in my bio. A whole bunch of books, but get the Gene Keys. I just made a video about it. I make a lot of videos about it, but yes, the Gene Keys. I can't show you my book because if I show you my book, you're going to look for it and not going to find it. So I have a first edition. They have a new edition. It's purple with little dots all on the outside. Just Google it. You're welcome. Okay, so free your mind. So now Neptune has moved beyond Saturn's limitations, which are these structures and forms that you must obey. This is the way. This angle, that angle. This is what it means. It's only that. No, I'm the only God. No, this is the only way to think. No, right? So Neptune is now free, which is, again, your astral body, which is probably why you've been having more dreams, you're more lucid, you're lighter. Yeah, because Neptune, which is, again, dealing with the subtle bodies, okay, is now able to connect in with ease and effortlessness, right? And you're getting more clarity. Maybe you're having fun dreams. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're having emotional shit come up in your dreams. All right, to show you what needs to be released or what you're doing in the etheric realms. Because truly, right now, while you're looking at me and I'm looking at you and we're awake, we're actually in the dream. This is the active, we're lucid, active in the dream. And when we go to sleep, we're in our astral state, that's our spirit. That's why they're called spirit bodies. And we're fucking spirit. And then we wake up in the morning or whatever, and we're boom, back in this avatar with the remote control to an Xbox remote when we're used to a fucking PlayStation 64. We're like, I don't know how to work this thing. I don't know what this button means. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do with it. What do you mean bounce and left R and right R and tab and what the fuck does that mean? There's so many buttons. Right? So that's here. We're learning all these buttons. But really, we're spirit. We're spirit. And we're essentially in the radial sphere. The radio sphere. We're the radial consciousness energy, which is outside the body. And then it comes through the body and it's like, this is what I'm playing. Okay, this is the game that I'm in. But the thing is to awaken to be lucid in the dream, in the dance, in the lila. To be aware that you are God in an avatar, virtual reality suit, with the remote control being your emotions and your mind, and how you're going to use these two in harmony, your Mercury and your Mars, in harmony to direct the currents, the currency of your body. And to ultimately yoke these spirit bodies. And then you have Pluto. I got black in my hand, we'll use them. So Pluto is like absolute space. Before you get into, it's plutonium, Pluto, I almost put plutonium. So Pluto is, again, more spirit body, plutonium. And each one of these, again, the Uranus, the Neptune, and Pluto, or Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, all connect to the nuclear elements on the periodic table of elements. Because once your radial body, your telepathic body, okay, your XM radio frequencies are being received and channeled in directly from the crown. Once, and then you got the moon. And we'll do, which again is why the moon is demonized. Because they don't want you to have access to the crown. And if you demonize it, then people always demonize that which they don't understand. Just also another note. And most don't understand the feminine nature and the purpose of the subconscious. People didn't understand Kali, and the purpose of Kali wasn't to go devour men. It was to go devour your desire nature that was consuming you. Okay, so your crown, the darkness, the unconscious, okay, and the lunacy and how it plays out in people. It is to bring to the surface the unconscious nature, what is happening behind closed doors, and making it visible, through each lunar cycle, each month. Okay, and it highlights a different zodiac or archetype each month, so that you see the full degree of what's hiding within yourself. All right, and then the sun it brings every aspect of the collective unconscious, the collective mind, which is what the fucking cosmos is, the collective mind, into illumination each year. It takes a whole year. And so how you can see that is it's like a mother. The moon is like the mother watching her son go around in a whole year. And each month she's like, okay, here's another thing that you need to learn, son. And in 28 days, she teaches him that. And that's a month. He's now learned something. And then in 13 months, in a whole year or whatever, the sun has accomplished an entire course. And that's the solar cycle that we go through. He's learned 13 things, a whole course. So we've learned 13 things, each cycle, or you repeat it. So again, the moon is like a mother watching her little toddler learn how to walk or learn how to crawl. And then they start walking, and then she's like going around baby-proof in the house. Unconscious, bringing unconscious, like, oh, I want to stick the fork into the socket. No, we don't do that. She's walking around making sure the baby, the son, doesn't electrocute himself because he's unaware. Because our son is about us becoming aware, self-aware. And the moon does this, brings self-awareness through lessons. Just like every sage, every teacher brings self-awareness through tasks. You get a new devotee and like, oh, guru, what should I do? And then he gives them some stupid task. Okay, you have to sit there and chant 300 times this mantra. Okay, okay, guru, what was supposed to happen? I don't know what happened from that. Well, I had all of these feelings. Well, then that's what was supposed to come up, were these feelings, these sensations. It's to bring everything that's under the moon to awareness, to light, so that you can walk with full awareness. The crown. You can be crowned. And so that the higher frequencies that come from the exosphere and the celestial or stellar logos, celestial consciousness, the celestial mind, stellar logos is stellar mind. So the celestial mind, which is the higher mind, the higher functioning. And this is also mapped in the gene keys known as the Sidic state of frequency, which is a 5th dimensional state, or an XM radio, which is exosphere, which I'm talking about, okay? Exosphere. And just like XM radio when it was cool, okay, not now, I'm telling you my age, right, obviously. But when XM radio was cool, we had to pay for the subscription for this. Even with your fucking Pandora or your Spotify or your YouTube music, or Apple Music, you're paying for it. So you're paying your dues. So to achieve exosphere consciousness or spirit body or celestial consciousness, you have to pay your dues. We call that initiations, right? And that's right, getting your planets or your inner centers, inner planets, the centers in alignment, orienting these frequencies from AM to their FM to their XM radio, or from their personality, the soul, and the higher self. So it's ultimately to get it out of the personality nature, which is the animalistic primal nature, AM radio, static, demonic, okay, because you're the bridge, you're the radio, okay, you're the shaman, you're the barometer, and you're either going to be tuned into the demonic frequencies, okay, or you can be tuned into the angelic frequencies. AM, static, demonic. XM, angelic. Angels. Okay, a celestial consciousness, which is the higher mind. And what comes with the higher mind is clarity, is telepathy. I don't know, I got a little spit on my shirt. It's telepathy, or maybe it was tea. Telekinesis, supernatural abilities. I think I spit on myself. It's okay. Thank you guys all for the hearts. Who did I invite? I did not mean to invite. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to invite. I meant to scroll up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. King Otanaga. I didn't say your name right either. Otanaga. It's okay. You're fine. Thank you. All right. So these higher frequencies, it brings clarity. And so that's Sidic state of consciousness. So in the gene keys. Like I said, Neptune, I know I'm talking a lot about Neptune today. This is my book. It's old. It's shit. The binding's broken. Everything's broken in this book. But, except for, well, even, yeah. So Neptune, it's about dissolving the ego boundaries so that the higher self can take the wheel. Okay. of your life. And so Neptune is no longer like directly fused with Saturn in the victim mind. It has now moved into Jinki 37, the shadow of weakness, okay? And it's the gift of equality, through the gift of equality, and then the city of tenderness. So always read the cities. Always, what is it, 37? Always read the cities, okay? That is the natural, supernatural state of human consciousness before we fully descended into the lower realms, the lower frequencies, the sensual experiences. All right. And so the 38th, what do you want me to bring? The sacrificial lamb. And now the Jinkies is like, if you're an esoteric student, like you've really read Alice Bailey's work, all right, and you know all about the paths of initiation, like the 7 paths of the cosmic rays, essentially, and the initiates and the paths of this, then you will, when you start reading this book, you'll start seeing the mystic rites of passage through this. Okay. And each one of the keys, and that's what I track in my Patreon. Okay. It's like every week I look at the cosmic transits and allow for spirit, my higher self, to guide our conversation, our collective conversation. And it usually unfolds like what's happening within the collective, the planetary initiation. So you have individual initiation and then there's planetary initiation. And I've been tracking that for the last 10 years. I'm no different than the planet. So whatever the planet's going through, I'm going through. And whatever the planet's going through, you're going through. So we're going through it. It's just, are you aware or are you not aware? Are you there or are you not there? Right? And so I'm watching it and I've been taking people through in groups for 10 years. So the 37th Jinki, it is called it's the city of tenderness. I already said all this stuff. But it's dubbed the family alchemy. And that's what we'll be talking about today. So you can clearly see family alchemy. That, and again, that was the first thing that I had up, right? Well, now where to go? No, I like that one. Well, no. Yes. Alchemy. I had this one up when we first started, right? So the whole and raw emotions, minerals, pure power, alchemy, right? So I've been talking about each planet, right? I've been talking about each one of the planets and their metal, all right? And their mineral, I don't even say metal, either mineral, all right? And so once we get into the subtle bodies, we're dealing with uranium for Uranus, radium for Neptune, and plutonium for Pluto. Okay, and so that makes you nuclear. You're a nuclear atomic consciousness. You're still in this body is still the body, but what you can't see, okay, is your impact in your aura and your biofield, which you might be able to see once the Siddhic state of consciousness fully raptures within your awareness. But even then, you can still see that there have been, like Babaji, there's been many mystics that just sit there and hold their holiness. Also, the sun is in Jinki 61, which is the city of, is it still in 61? Yes, it is, line 4. And which is the city of sanctity, or the Holy of Holies, okay? When you attain, you've reached the palace within. Okay, you've seen the temple of God within. It's of jewels, and it's the temple of Solomon that was created with no hammers and no songs of men and shines with jewels. All right, the Song of Solomon. So Solomon's temple here. So it's a circuitry that completes itself in your brain, or the mind, I guess. It's more than just the pineal pituitary. It's more than just the chemicals. Like that all happens, but there's a circuitry through which enlightenment, or an enlightened mind, operates. Okay, and that's nirvana, that's moksha, that's enlightenment, and so their perception is so clear, it's radial. All right. And so the Mayans have also depicted this within the hollow perceiver mind. Okay. So activating radial consciousness is the telepathic consciousness. And in order to activate that, you have to activate your spirit bodies. You have to have that, the radium, the uranium. So your energy body, your energy field, excuse me. So the chemicals in your body have to be stabilized. You have to be secreting certain hormones. Your Shekinah, your Sophia has to have risen. All right. It has to be moving through your body like currents, okay, of high potency. And then your spirit bodies pull in, draw in the uranium, and the plutonium frequencies, right, which are all in the atmosphere. It's all out there too. It's all out in the atmosphere in small quantities. And this is also where we have the noble gases. Okay. And so uranium lights up, okay, it'll light up a whole city. Okay. Uranium does this, rhenium does this, plutonium, they all light up. They create a lot of heat. They can produce high heat. Okay. High currents of heat. They hold high currents of heat. Okay. And then that's what the noble gases, or, the inert gases on the periodic table of elements, like xeon and neon and krypton. All right. All these noble gases that are in the atmosphere, right? They connect with your spirit body, and you start to radiate light. You become a greater light, like a city of light. And we can look to see that has already happened on our planet with Tartaria, with the hidden history of Tartaria. Okay? They harnessed these minerals, and that means that they had it in their bodies too. Because the temples outside are reflections of the body and the mind. The creative capacity. And so once all of these spirit bodies are operating, okay, then your creative capacity, your Mars, your vitality gets charged. And your creative energy is fucking fluid. I don't know what this is. I think this is a pin. It's fluid. All right? And you're just an unstoppable creative force. Okay? All of the supernatural abilities, those are described in the cities of the 64 gene keys, which, are in part his contemplation, and they're spoke about is the Vibhutis in the Upanishads, okay, which is a limb of yoga. But the Upanishads, well, that's part of like it's all in the Bhagavad Gita, but the Upanishads came after the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. They were like an extension of that. If you really want to study those, this is a great bundle to have, okay, is your Bhagavad Gita, okay? This one specifically, I recommend this one because it has it in multiple languages, or not multiple languages, in English as well. Okay, and but the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, this is a Raja Yoga book, Raja Yoga. Okay, people, get the Gene Keys, read your Bhagavad Gita. You can grab your Jesus Bible too if you want, if you're really, really good at breaking down symbolism, because that's what the esoterics, or the Masons, if you will, they were breaking down symbolism, because that's how we spoke. That's how we speak. That's what speaks to the subconscious, is symbols. This is why they use colors and symbols in, the mass media to manipulate your mind, because it's like when we speak in music and songs and stuff, our bodies respond to it, because that's the subconscious nature. Okay. And so these books, Raja Yoga, teaches you how to calm the mind. And if you're an esoteric student, get this one, which is The Light of the Soul by Alice Bailey. She has taken the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali and she has connected it to the initiation. Okay, the rites of passage. It's very good. And then you can connect that with the gene keys. Or you can just join my group in the Patreon and I'll see you on Wednesdays. Because it's a journey. We're all here for the ride. And the whole thing is like to take the helm. And then that's what Neptune is asking us to do, is to take the helm. What did you say? Never have I ever. Yeah. Wow, getting so much from this. Welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad that you found it. Your spirit guided you here. Everybody's spirit guided you all here for this. I know how many people talk about this out loud. Not very many. They charge thousands of dollars for this kind of information. You're welcome. I just want to see all my brothers and sisters live their best motherfucking life. I want to see your minds free so that you can create your best fucking life. Because that's the biggest revolution that we can have, is to live fully. They want us, the system, the ego, the collective dark night wants to draw us in and keep us in this safety net of false sense of security, right? It's an authoritarian structure. No, that's my body, that's my consciousness, that was my creation. Like, no, we're changing, and we're gonna play, and we're gonna laugh, and we're gonna grow, and we're gonna create. That's the biggest act of revolution that we can do, is to create, is to laugh, is to not give the screaming, tantrum throwing child what it wants. You gotta be the mom that doesn't cave in to the crying, temper tantrum throwing child. You don't get the fucking Pop-Tarts. Period. Can't give the screaming baby what it wants, or toddler. Okay? The temper tantrum toddler. You gotta say fucking no. Or walk the fuck away. They'll stop crying and run and follow you. They'll figure it the fuck out. You might look like a mean mom or dad, but you're really teaching the child a lesson. Or you can throw yourself on the ground and start crying with it. I've seen that video too. Anyways, these books right here, Upanishads, they pair, obviously they're a branch from the sutra. So, but as a Raja Yoga student, this is a must-have. Those are must-haves, okay? And again, I didn't start out like this. This is not how I came into the game. I was in a lot of psychosis. I had lost a lot of things in my life, and I was in a very dark space, and I was very susceptible to the mainstream influence of starseedology and all of that hoopla that's out there. But thank God my soul is strong, and I stuck with the gene keys, and esoteric astrology is where I went towards with Alice Bailey's teachings. So, and then as I progressed, I was always doing yoga, but then the Yoga Sutras came through, the Bhagavad Gita came through, and obviously the teachings from the Bible. I, went into Bill Donahue, bless his heart, went into his world and was beautifully helped in that way, elevated in the religious indoctrination and unplugging from that. And that led me to Manly P. Hall's work, which was like understanding your Bible, how to understand your Bible. Really was one of the first of his books that I dove into, which is really fucking fantastic. Highly suggest this for anybody that has their lineage, or you were raised in a religion, or like Christianity specifically, to get this book to help you understand it. This threw all my bells and whistles in a woohoo, because it made so much more sense, especially for the root races, which I internally had felt was like, we're in the 7th root race, we're in the end times, but I didn't have proof, right? Everybody in the world wants proof. And so Alice Bailey, she believed it was a 6th root race. Even he believed it was a 6th root race. And so did Rudolf Steiner believed it, and so does Richard Rudd, thinks it's the sixth root race. There's a lot of esotericists that believe it was going to be the sixth root race. But what none of them knew was Tartaria. What none of them reflected on was because of the whitewashing, because of the history, lies, and like the suppression and oppression of the indigenous beings. And they never put these things together. So the whole world was indigenous. That's where the pagans and like the Irish, the Scots, and the Vikings, and the Native Americans, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Native Hopi, and all the indigenous, even the Moorish people over here, the Milano nation of America. Okay, over here in Florida too, like all of they call Afro-Indigenous, but Afro-Indigenous, okay, all indigenous, the indigenous of the Australia, the indigenous, okay, everybody was indigenous. So that was the sixth root race. It was worldwide, and it culminated, okay, and the last 2,000 years has been the short period of Satan, or the Kali Yuga. And again, that's the cycle of the sun rising on the vernal equinox, okay, which denotes the fucking age that we're living in. And it's been rising in Pisces. That's why we use sidereal, because that's what shows you the true fucking placements. Okay, you're not the earth. I mean, you are the earth, but you're not the physical. You're spirit. And nothing is fixed. But black magic is. Black magic is used for sure. And that 23.5 degree wobble connects to the eye of Eltonin. Our poles being in full alignment, not off by 23.4 degrees. Okay. Straight up, the poles being oriented straight to Polaris, and the energy, that's orientation. That's right orientation. Polaris, the North Pole. But that 23.4 degree wobble, yeah, that's right at the eye of Eltonin, Draco. And we all talk about the dragon, the Draco, the Draco, the Dracos, the Dracos. That's the eye of Eltonin, the evil eye. Eltonin is the eye of the dragon. Okay? And that's where the black magicians fuel. And it's not, that was a time period. Okay? When Eltonin or Draco was the star pole, okay? Or they pulled the energy was being pulled from that. And it influenced the collective. All the stars influence the collective. But when we're the poles are shifting, there's a 23.4 degree wobble. We're out of alignment. It's like our fucking spine. That's the North Pole is our spine that aligns straight from the center to the fucking crown. Our crown. And they've got it deviated to the fucking evil eye. That's why all this talk about the pole shift. It's not about the fucking earth wobbling one way or another. It's the frequencies that are being reoriented and directed straight the fuck down. Stand tall, stand proud, arms back, tits out, chin up, walk. You know what I'm saying? It helps that I'm wearing a fucking U.S. Marine shirt right now. It's not mine. I wasn't in the Marine Corps. I was in the Navy. This is my ex's. I just look better in green than I do in gray, okay? And I wore my Navy one yesterday. It's cold. I don't own a lot of clothes. I kind of rewear the same shit all the time. Anyways. So yes, this book. Lots of books. I have lots of books. All the books that I recommend are in my my link in my bio, okay? Definitely get your Gene Keys book. You can get your yogi book. Anyway, so this right orientation, what was I talking about? Yeah, that's right. We're talking about the family of alchemy. So once our energy center is right, it's oriented, right? We're in right orientation. Our spine is straight. Our crown is open, and we're aligned to Polaris, which aligns us to the cosmic trinity of cosmic frequencies that descend through our spirit bodies that create our radial, okay, emanation, light, and the way in which our DNA, okay, this is the point, the way in which the play, what we project, our DNA will no longer be projecting from the low shadow frequencies. It'll be projecting from the acidic frequencies. So you become a nuclear or atomic being, all right? And your spiritual inheritance, okay, awakens. And so all of your chemicals are balanced, all right? Your energy bodies are balanced, and you are drawing in the purest, most aligned reality, all right? And streaming God consciousness effortlessly. You are it. You have tapped into the God code. You are the living embodiment of it. The whole journey is about knowing that you are, and pulling out any frequencies or blocks, or removing any blocks that tell you otherwise. But that's the journey of life. You know, that's again, bringing the darkness to the light and embracing it and living fully. Now there's levels, obviously, to this than just living your best life. There is living as an enlightened, illumined being, and that's what the stages of initiation are for. And that's not everybody's goal or their soul's gift in this life. They're just to move through 1 or 2 generational curses, you know, and thank you, just to move through a couple of generational curses, and then they get to live, you know, blissfully. And, you know, some people are just here to hold light. Everybody's here for different things. And so you'll know what you're here for. Everybody's here to play a different role, right? But we're all part of this whole. We're all part of the awakening of the 7th root race, all right, which is to become the nuclear atomic being as a collective. Now, most of our mystics of the past, and even Richard Rudd in the present, you know, think it's the 6th root race to be the shaman, but we've already had the shaman as a collective, as indigenous. We all have the indigenous collective, you know, gene running through us. You know, whether you came from the Irish, the Viking, or Native American, or South American native tribe, or Australian Aborigines, you understand, like, history's been a huge fucking lie. Or if you're Afro-Indigenous as well. Like, then they still live indigenously. Like, the fuck, Polynesian, the fuck. Everybody's fucking indigenous. They were one with the earth. The earth worked as a matriarchy. Which means that we worked in harmony with the earth. And there was a natural flow and structure, but we're in the short period of Satan. All right, which is creating the 7th root race, which becomes the angelic. We end the human experience and we begin our angelic ascent, which has already happened. That's why the fucking stars are there. They wouldn't be there because that's our future self. That's our future past. Because we're actually in the past. Because all is a memory in the one. And the only thing that's in the present is the higher mind. And the stars are the higher mind, the stellar mind. We've been living through the animalistic mind to bring it all into coherence so that this cosmic teenager we call God could become a cosmic adult and create a multiverse, just like you becoming a multidimensional being living in the multiverse. So, Jinky 37, the family of alchemy. And its programming partner is Jinky 40. All right. So no matter what in the cosmos, where you have one codon being activated, or Jinky, okay, the other one is being activated, like twins, twin flames. Okay. Don't go into that shit. That's mental fuckery. Your true twin is your etheric body. Your etheric double. Okay, now your storyline might be that you have like a manifestation of this, sure, whatever. Okay, but very few. Everybody, anyways, go on your mental journey. Get your mental jogging shoes on. Get your sleeve so you can cry into it more. Just get a very thick sleeve and really thick shoes to keep running, keep crying until you figure it the fuck out. Anyways, it is the physical and the etheric, okay? Book of Revelation was about John's full awakening, absolutely. And what's John? He was baptized, right? He was an initiate to becoming the atomic being, which was a rite of passage. It's not for everybody. This is not for everybody. Like, there's going to be cells that just die off that can't do it because they don't have the genetic blueprint for it, nor has their soul gone through enough initiations. They can't handle it. What you think is, like old souls that are here for the atomic consciousness, they have lost a lot of things. Not little, a lot. Most people die. They pew themselves because they can't handle the stress of loss and sadness and grief and constant fucking degrading and gossip and bad mouthing and all the evil eye that's sent their way through betrayals and such, which is, as a person that is on the path to attain full body of glory, full enlightenment, you're going to experience all of that, and you still got to get up. But the thing is with us is that we're not looking for external validation, baby. Right? We know it's a part of the trials and tribulations to being so gold here in these times. But other people, they can't handle that shit. So it's going to get too hot. The stove's going to get too hot. The kitchen's going to get too hot for them. And they'll stop. And that's good. That's fine. It's perfect. Be what it be. We still growing, not giving up. Yeah, don't give up. Keep going. These are really great tools. There's nobody else out there that's going to break it down like this for you in a life. They're not. They're just not. I don't know them. I never see them. I'll tell you that right now. They'll keep regurgitating the same stupid shit about symbols and esoteric garble, but this is what the fuck you're here for. This is the bigger picture. Okay? He said, see my content. I haven't seen your, comment. I was like, I haven't seen your content. I didn't even know. Hey, drummer. That's why you are here. Yes, I am here to help bring illumination. Rapture is when we reach Christ consciousness. Yes, sir. Trumpet sound is when each chakra has been opened. And we're seeing that in the solar flares online, We're seeing increased solar activity. That's all and you're seeing this in the Schumann resonance, right? You're seeing it in the graphs in the Schumann resonance. Yeah, that's the earth showing it's coming into harmony, higher harmonics, higher frequency. However you want to play it out, but CGI is a computer generated image, is not real, right? But it just let you know it's the world stage, so don't get too drawn into the hoopla out there. But do read it for what it is and what it means for you. But if you're impacted and you're like, I'm dizzy and I'm vomiting and I'm achy and I'm blah blah blah, then you got a lot of blicks and blocks and stops in your body and you need to clear your fucking filter out. If you're having all of these issues, my ears are ringing them, and this, that, and the other, you're going through a detox, and you need to help your body detox. Your but your mineral-based body needs support. You shouldn't have all these fucking ringing and pingings and shit in your ears. I mean, you can, but it's telling you something, It's letting you know that shit isn't orienting, because it's about the flow and not being affected by the world, like all of the morphogenetic fields of the collective. It is to become your own toroidal field, your own biofield. And I have serious. All right, so Jinky 37. It's called the real pole shift. This is the shadow. This is the title of the shadow here. It's called the real pole shift. What do you want me to read, Spirit? Number 37, which equals 10. It's the perfect number. The masculine, the feminine, the binary. All right? The innie and the outie. All right, so this age of Pisces, okay? The sun is rising in the age of Pisces. All right, because that's where the sun rises on the vernal equinox in sidereal astrology, which denotes the fucking age. So we're in the age of Pisces. We still have 300 more years till this age is completed, and in the age of Aquarius. So we're in the transitionary period, okay? But we're also in a transitionary period because Pisces is a part of the mutable cross. Okay, there's 3 crosses in the crosses of incarnation, and Pisces is the mutable. So when we're on the mutable cross, that means that we create mutations. It's where the word mutations comes from, and malleable comes from, is mutable, cross of mutation. And so Pisces is about being able to mutate. It's also the house of spirit. It's also the house of the unseen, the unconscious. And so, of course, we're getting close to the ending of this age, and we're seeing all of the unconscious shit rising to the surface to be seen, to be embraced, to be loved, not to be weak and to shun it and to condemn it, but to understand it, to complete the fucking circuit, because that's what everything is. It's circuitry. And if you cut the circuit off, or you just cut the organ out, it doesn't do any good. You're going to have to die and repeat, because now you just cut out a piece of the organ. You just cut out a piece of the circuit. The circuit board has to be complete, right? Okay, so we're in the age of Pisces and ending the age of Pisces. I look like, there we go. All right, so as humanity gradually begins to move out of the astrological age of Pisces and enter the new age of Aquarius, we are experiencing a shift in the emphasis of the global archetypes that imprint us as a species. The 37th gene key, and particularly its shadow frequency, have marked the age that we are now leaving. The 37th gene key, right? Those, which is the shadow of weakness. Those with an eye for the occult information will perhaps recall the number 37 as being the number of Christ, taken from Dramatia, however you say that, the ancient Hebrew system of alphabetical numerology. We are moving out of the sphere of the specific mythology surrounding Christ and into the sphere of the third aspect of the sacred Trinity, whose new mythology is based upon the great feminine archetype of synthesis. Okay, so what do I say here? Moving out of the sphere of mythology. Okay, so the sixth ray. So in esoteric astrology or rayology, I'm getting a book. Where is it? Cosmic Atom. Initiations of Solar. Where is it at? The rays. Oh, I don't know where I did that book. Okay, I can't find it. I'm not going to keep wasting more time. I'm live. Okay. Anyway, so the cosmic rays, okay? Alice Bailey is book, one of the books. I mean, there's a lot of books. Get all of her books. Read all of Alice Bailey's books. Like, for real. If you can get through them, read them. Okay. But the rays, okay, these are the Elohim. These are the 7 rays of the 7 stars of Ursa Major, which is Mama Bear, or the big ladle that circles around, Polaris. And that's the 7 rays of the builder rays. They're known as the builder rays. That, the 7 rays of the rainbow, the seven archangels, okay, the 7 lampstands. These are the cosmic rays that influence the whole building blocks of the creation, okay? And Saturn, he's an emanation, that's a planetary emanation. So they all have a planetary emanation as well. And that's what the 7 inner planets represent, and then the creation stories around their creation. Okay. So this real pole shift. What else do you want me to say here? This does not mean that the power, the sixth ray. So each ray is connected to a root race. Okay, so we are ending the sixth root race, which is the sixth ray or the Christ ray. That the sixth ray is the ray of idealism and devotion. And this root race, the sixth root race, the Christ ray, which is what it was about, brings in the seventh ray, which is the indigo ray, which is why we all hear indigo. You're an indigo child, which means that you're the light of the indigo, which is Uranus. Okay, Uranus is the planet that rules the indigo ray. And then that brings back the etheric body, which allows us to become atomic, nuclear. But we are the seeds of this, okay? We are the new earth leaders. Okay, which the new earth is the new body, all right? And we're not going to be operating and seeing after we end the sixth root race. We won't be operating and seeing the world through the lens of this physical, dense mineral. We'll be operating, seeing it through a plasma, through the plasma lens, through the etheric lens to become semi-etheric beings, okay? And so that seventh ray is the ray of ceremonial order and magic. Ceremonial order, okay, ritual. Ceremonial order means ritual. So ceremonial order through magic, through play. Okay, that's what we're here to build, to be. The biggest revolution that we can have is to live fully in passion and play, no matter what's going on the world stage. And you know what? If you get drug into the world stage stuff, it's fine, because that's what you need to heal with. And you cannot bypass the things that are blocking your infinite flow. Okay, you just have to be like, oh, that came up. That's what's happening. Okay. And then you just reorient your awareness. You bring awareness to it instead of bypassing it, smoking it away, fucking it away, drinking it away, eating it away, right? Or suppressing it. Doesn't exist. Denial. Okay? You bring it into awareness. You're like, this is uncomfortable. Why do I still feel this need or this desire or like have this thought? Like, where's that coming from? And then you just give it space. Like, okay, there, it's there. And then, is it true? No, I don't align with that. It's not, I don't agree with that at all. I have a new perception. I have different values and morals and beliefs, and I've seen things that tell me differently. I've experienced life differently. It doesn't exist anymore. And you shake it out, and you let it go, and you don't attach to the way that you felt 10 minutes ago when you had a fucking outburst. Because now you're like, oh, I'm so grateful I had the outburst, because if I didn't have the outburst, I wouldn't have stopped to think about why I was having an outburst. And you give love to yourself and to maybe the person that you had the outburst on, or you just laugh at yourself for having the outburst. Okay? I said that. That's not my experience. Release that love. That's right. That's right. Release it with love. Loving awareness. You cannot, like, even in the moment, I do this all the time. I go on rants. I'll be in a live stream and I'll have a rant. And I'm like, fuck, the fuck was I having that fucking rant for? Well, obviously I still have shit there. So I need to reorient it. So I have to sit in it. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to post it now. Too bad. Post it. And then know that you've changed. And then that's okay. Because it gives people permission to also change the very next moment, the very next day. And know that every day that you wake up is a new beginning. It doesn't matter who you were 2 days ago, 2 hours ago. If you chose to change from a moment that gave you the opportunity to shift, then that's great. Whoever's holding on to the version of you that you used to be even yesterday, they don't know you. Okay. So, here. This does not mean that the power behind the Christ myth will in any way diminish as we enter the new phase of evolution. What will change is our understanding and interpretation of the myth, and its hidden aspects finally reveal themselves. This process ushers a flood of new mythic feminine energies and archetypes into the collective consciousness. The 37th shadow is the shadow of weakness. Weakness, as we shall see, is nothing but a projection of male psyche onto the female psyche. As in the West, women have been viewed up until recently as the weaker sex. However, what appears as to humans as weak is actually something that we cannot yet understand. We may see this enacted even in the external of the Christian myth itself, in which one man surrenders to forces that finally overpower him. Naturally, it is in the inner meaning of the myth that holds the real key, for it is only in the sacrifice and the subsequent resurrection that one finally comes to understand the hidden nature of Jesus's actions. Much of the 37th gene key, therefore, concerns the nature of a force that is perceived as weak, but is inevitably, it shows itself to be the opposite, to be strong. The 37th shadow represents inequality between yin and yang forces on our planet. So Neptune, now that it has entered into the 37, it's going to show this in the collective theme through Mars, through its lower representation, okay, which is Mars and emotions, passion, play, war, and control, okay? And you'll also see this playing out in the astral, which is the emotional field of the collective, all right? So you're going to see the yin and yang, the battle of the sexes, essentially. You're going to see the polarities and them coming into equality. You already can. In my field, you already see it. People being like, yes, XX chromosome is the base blueprint. Science has now proven it, that Christianity's ideal of like how they said woman came from man is scientifically not true. Yes, correct, because it's the XX and the XY is the mutation. The Y is what makes the male. So it's a mutation from the original blueprint, right? So we know that we've been living in a time of manipulation, of mutation, and how the patriarchy, if you will, the masculine structure has come in and been like, no, I'm creator, male god, men above women. And we're going to see this come into balance, right? Because the matriarchy isn't about all women running and ruling. No, it's about being in matriarchy is about putting the children and first. It's about legacy, true legacy, which is creation and the continuance of the human creation, which is found in passing on the mitochondria, which is passed on through the woman, okay, to her children, which is all the memory outside the cells that the mother passes on. So it's not about making men lesser and women higher. It's about equality, understanding that we all have purpose and there's purpose in our power, and everything happened the way that it was meant to. Because you got to think about the pendulum going to one side and to the other side, and then it needs to come into perfect balance. So at one point, the feminine, okay, was like, I'm ruling, men bow down, you know, you're nothing, you're just a man. You gotta think it got there too. It got there too. That's why, I mean, there's so many things I could go on and say, but that's why men look towards other men, because other men are who understand them. How their, you know, patriarchy actually like is about the manipulation of men. It's taking away their true masculine authority and their position in nature and manipulating them through their lower nature, which is the power, control, authoritarianism, their lower desire, sex nature, all that stuff, drugs, sex, alcohol, all the things. distracting them from their true masculine nature, which is to be a provider, to provide, to protect, to persevere, to guide. Like men are truly gentle, and they're great storytellers, they're poetic, they're creative, they're loving, they're great, just as women are great. So this whole journey was about, like, our larger journey, cosmic journey, is really about, again, like I said in the beginning, the sun and the moon, and bringing them into balance. You know, we're always demonizing the moon right now because they're demonizing feminine. And then feminine, the moon is demonizing the sun. You're too bright, you're too much, you know. And so it's about bringing these poles into equality. And that's what Gene Key 37 is about. So we're going to see these themes, and you can read more about it. You can join my group if you want. I'll go over it in my group, but not today. But you can join the group. You can get your Gene Keys book. You can, you know, follow the sidereal placements using geneticmatrix.com. geneticmatrix.com. I don't know how to write any of this in. But it's all in my bio. Okay. There's a direct link on my link tree and my bio to all the books that I've talked about today, to getting your own books. You don't have to work with me at all, ever, never. I implore you. If you want to, you can. I'm here for it. Otherwise, you know, you can be a self-taught as well, if that's the path you like. That's the path I liked, you know. And yeah, or you can join my Patreon. But all the links to all the things are on my link tree for all the books that I suggested today. And even more that I didn't even talk about, like the Mayan calendar. I didn't even talk about that. You definitely got to get into the Mayan, because that's part of the shaman, the sixth root race. Again, you're getting all your codes, your memories. These are all like your soul's incarnations. And well, obviously I've been in a lot of different bodies and many eons that I've been here. But the Mayan is a fucking magnificent tool. I love it. You got to think, like, the images that they use with the animals is because they were able to morph. You know, you have lore about the Celtics, the Irish, being able to morph into like werewolves and different animals, like Odin into the crow, or the raven. Sorry, the raven. So we all have like a spirit animal, and then that's very shamanic, right? So we're able to morph, because that's part of the sixth root race's abilities, was to be able to morph. I said this one more time, morph, into a different animal. That's part of our supernatural abilities. And the shaman realm, that was pretty normal. They'd obviously have to prepare for that, but your body is able to transfigure and to not just project your consciousness, like it's called telepathic or mental telepathy, not just projecting thought into an animal, or like you can see through the eyes of another animal. That's all what the shamanic race was about, the shamans, and these ancestors, and that's why they would dance the way that they did. It was to get into a trance-like state, so that their bodies, and you know, you would see like the natives, the indigenous. I grew up out around all of the indigenous in Southern, well, I'm like literally on the border of Arizona. So I grew up with all of these Native American cultures around me, not to mention it's in me as well. But yeah, the headdresses that they wear, the birds that they wear, like some were bird tribes, some were wolf tribes, some were bear tribes, some were horse tribes. Like that would be their animal that they would morph into. You know, that's where you get these white buffalo woman and the men, and like it's been taken on a very Kyra Raw, her stupid shit. It's been taken on a very basic like surface, but like a white buffalo woman, when she devoured these men, like that was them becoming part of the buffalo spirit with the divine mother. It wasn't that they got murdered because, you know, they were doing bad shit, but they were able to be transformed. It's the same thing when you look at the movie Disney's Brave, where the mother morphed into a bear, okay? And her daughter went to save her mother from being permanently turned into a bear. Okay, so there was plenty of lore that still exists about our ancestors and their ability to morph, which is our ability to morph into different species, but specific indigenous groups, they had specific animals that they paid homage to that would be able to carry their essence, or they could shift their essence into being. Some can physically shapeshift, others would just project themselves into that spirit guide, that spirit animal. I'm going to check out your stuff. So much love. I'm glad that you enjoyed this. She is magic. So I think I've been live for 3 hours now. It's almost 2 o'clock my time, Eastern Standard Time. So I hope that you all got some great insight out of today's stream here on YouTube and on TikTok. And again, if you take guests, not in this live, but sometimes I do. Yeah, sometimes. Just not in this live. This live was to really bring some clarity, to have a, oh my goodness, 109, woohoo! 109, yay! This was to create like more of an educational video to put onto the Patreon and onto YouTube, so that when people join, this would be a great one for them to get oriented to the planets, the root races. It's a beautiful synthesis call today. So I appreciate you guys being here. Yes, I do post on YouTube, but it's usually, well, I mean, I've been posting on YouTube for like 9 years now. So and I have like 1,800 followers. It's very small. I'm not a big, like, you know, I don't have huge followings or anything like that, guys. The fact that I have 28,000 on TikTok is fucking insane to me. I've been on social media for 10 years, and this is like the most following I've had. So, but yeah, I do post to YouTube. I have posted some of I post content there, but my more readily stuff is going to be found on TikTok, or stuff that I do more often, like little clips and shit, like little channeled messages and spirit pops through. That's on TikTok. And then my weekly transmissions I host privately. Unlisted videos, those are unlisted. Those are just for Patreon. So that's a weekly call. That's very deep, about 3 hours, at least 2 hours every Wednesday, but usually 3 hours every Wednesday. And then we have a Q&A call once a month. So you can sign up for the Patreon if you'd like to enjoy that. There's a private group that goes along with it. I've had that group for 5 years, 6 years, 5 years now, something like that. No, maybe not 5 years, maybe like 3, 4 years. I don't know. Holy hair. Anyways, you can join Patreon. All my links to everything that I do. You can do one-on-one. I have mentorship if you want to activate your gene keys, your hologenetic profile, awaken your genius, understand your ins and your outs, your attachments, your behavior patterns, your emotional IQ, your intelligence IQ, your spiritual IQ, understanding, you know, the ins and outs of your cosmic blueprint, you know, how to help you heal through PTSD, CPTSD. I've been through it all. I've healed myself. I've worked with many beings, hundreds of beings, thousands of people over the last 10 years. I did have a podcast. I quit that podcast. I had a podcast for about 2 years, which was a great growing experience for me, and boundaries. Anyways, not new to this world, but I have one-on-ones if you'd like a cosmic blueprint. I have to have the mentorship if you're into that. And yeah, if you need some help, I'm here to help you. If you want to do it on your own, please go to my link in my bio and look at the books that I suggest you use to read. They're fantastic. I'm not trying to get you to read all kinds of random shit. They're really, these are the books that I have found that really spoke to my soul, which obviously I deal with esoterics and, you know, working with the DNA, the templating. I went into the Keylontic fucking nightmare. Don't get me twisted. I went into the Keylontic nightmare. I got sucked into all of the fucking starseed dystopia that's out there. And, you know, channeling never sat right with me. Ever. I did get invited to a TV series in 2019. And I'm glad I didn't, because one of the co-stars that was in it is a channeler. He's a very large channeler. And I'm really grateful that I didn't get pulled and sucked into all of that drama. And I know everybody's here just doing their thing, but that's not something that my morals, my values align with. So I don't like it, because it promotes that people should open their bodies up for entities to use them like they're a fucking puppet, you know. And they do, like, and I don't believe in putting the power outside of you. Your sovereignty is your self-authority, the God in you. And you know, all people are creative in nature, and they're just expressing their creative capacities, and that's beautiful. If you have a channeled message, you know, and you're getting it from somebody's ancestor or spirit, that's a different thing. That's not what I'm speaking on. What I'm speaking on is people that completely, like Esther Hicks, who completely moves out of her body and allows for Abraham to speak through her. That is possession. Okay? So I don't believe in possession. Okay? God is in you. You just have to do the work and trust yourself, and know that the only validation that you need is in you, and God in you, and source in you. You don't need other people to validate you because you say it's from Archangel Michael, or I'm channeling and I'm the embodiment of Cryon, or I'm the embodiment of Bashar, or Bashar is this alien that's through me, or the Pleiadian Council, or the Galactic Fuckeration, you know, or the Guardian Alliance. You don't need any of that. You're enough. Your presence. You have all the memory of the Akash in your DNA, in your body, and you can do this. You have to trust you. And you don't need anybody's validation. Okay? He said, see my comment again. Did I miss another one of your comments, Drum? What'd you say? Thank you. I'll take a screenshot. Oh, you must put something up there. The Holy Science by Sri Yukasharwar. I am not good with this, with speaking in Sanskrit, but would be up your alley. Probably. Sri Yukshwar. I have to say these things in my head. You're having me say them out loud. I'm still proud of me though, because I couldn't actually read until like 5th grade. Because of the amount of trauma that I went in this life. I had to get hooked on phonics in 5th grade, but it's cool. You know, I did say omniscience. I called it omniscience for like, even, I mean, seriously, I think until 2020, I was calling it omniscience. So, gotta have grace with yourself. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having the most expanded vocabulary, or the prettiest face, or the skinniest little body, you know, or being boho and bouncy and shit. Or saying things, you know, all astute. Having a great vocabulary. I wish I did. I do tend to think that I have a great way of expressing, but I still fuck up on words all the time. I'm still learning. I'm still being human. I'm not perfect, but I like my imperfections, to include like my skin ain't perfect. All right. Anyways, my tongue is still twisted at 48 years old. Yeah, I say twisted shit all the time. I forget that I'm not 17 and I can't talk like certain things. Yes, just enough. That's right. You sure do. I know. I break out with my fucking... But that's the beauty of like having a personality. It's like, not to say that you don't have a personality. Source is going to work through you. When you're in flow, spirit flows through you. You don't have to be any like zenned out like monotone being. It's to have the zazz, the personality, and to be open, and to be human. To be human is to be divine, you know, in all of our wondrous expressions. That's perfect. We're not supposed to be like, diversity is beauty. Diversity is beauty. Yes. Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All night long, all night. All right, I don't have anything else. This Spirit, what do you want me to say? Anything else? While we're bringing in this energy, what do you want me to say? Equality, the ancient, the ascent of the family. Yeah, Jinky 37 and 40 is a lot about the family unit in its pole and its orientation. So we're gonna see more themes on the world stage because Neptune takes time to move through the codons or the gene keys, and there's 6 lines to each codon, and so Neptune's only in line 1 right now, so it'll take its sweet dandy ass time to go through the 37. It'll be a few months, like 2-3 months, 3 or 4 months, of I don't know exactly how many months it's going to take to go through. I'd have to look to see if there's going to be any retrogrades too, if Neptune's going to go retrograde or at all. But anyway, so you will see these deep themes that are going to be coming to the surface. There's going to be more divorce. There's going to be, different families, like what true family is. And that's, where there's equality, where we're finding equality and balancing of the yin and the yang. And what's really family? Well, it's your community. It's the family that you choose, right? That choose to support you and show up and honor you and value you. We're going to see new families emerge, which is new communities being built while the old world structures are falling. And so families are the lifeblood of humanity, and a healthy family is a vehicle for such a potent force of creativity and love. The new family will become a vessel for collective ascension as we recognize the power of the new awareness carried by the coming generation. We will begin to build a civilization based around the view of an incarnating child. Again, matriarchal structure. We will create a truly magical world. Truly. And Saturn is in Jinky 55. So there are themes in the world right now where Saturn is there's heightened awareness around being in a victim mind. And you can see women and men both playing this victim. I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. We see it on the world stage, the victims of Epstein and the victim mind. And that's all supposed to be unfolding. It's not to say that it's good or it's bad or it's right or wrong or evil or heavenly. It is observing. We're observing and we're embracing the shadow and we're understanding its purpose. And we are unfolding in our own, and as our emotions rise and as our attachments to whatever, like the Me Too movement, like, yeah, my dad molested, raped me and 18 other fucking women and children that were willing to come forward, and there's still more that we know that didn't come forward. And so all of these, seeing these themes rise up, and I can feel my own like unsettling and at times, or I can feel my empathy and understanding and just, there's also an acceptance of it. And then that's what's happened. And so there's a lot of stuff that comes up, and it's not to let it overwhelm you. If it does, then it does, but don't allow it to overwhelm you, because you can't control everything, but there are going to be people that are positioned by God to do things, to take the actions, to go to protests, to, start the new communities, to be activists in ways. And then there's other people that are just meant to create new creative outlets for people that are healing from the abuse, or that went, were, captive by ICE agents, and here's a recovery center. And there's so many things that so many people are going to, if you're drawn into that, then that's where you go. But like, if it's just something that you're wanting to bitch and moan and complain and make money because you're making videos, then you're not helping, you're hindering. If you just want to bitch and complain, then that is not doing anybody any good. It's perpetuating. But if you're there to be of change, then fan-fucking-tastic. Okay. This friendships. Okay. The sacrificial lamb. So the city of Jinky 37. Spirit just wants me to talk about this. I'll talk about it. I thought I was done. Okay. So as the second aspect of the mysterious Trinity, the Christ, this is the city of tenderness. Okay. It's called the sacrificial lamb. And I'm on page 292. If you've already got your Jinkies book out, portion. and you're following along, okay? So the second aspect of the mystery trinity, and 626 Nan, okay? And Frank's in here. So Frank, you might have your Gene Keys book out. That's 292, all right? I'm in the first paragraph, but at the very end of it. As the second aspect of the mysterious trinity, the Christ unites the two polarities of the masculine Father, prime Yang, with the feminine Holy Spirit, prime Yin. Yang, Yin. Okay? We have seen that the 37th, this is why Jesus is said to be both the Son of God and the Son of Man. He is the offspring of both Yin and Yang, and is therefore the great equalizing force between them. Yin and Yang, and the equalizing force between them. Yeshua, which is like Isis, but with a J. Okay, Isis, Isis, with a J. It's Jesus, and it's the equalizing force between the Father and the Mother, or the Yin and the Yang. And yes, Jesus, or Jupiter, is the force between them, or the heart. Okay? So, he is the offspring of both yin and yang, and therefore the equalizing force between them. We have seen that the 37th gene key represents the evolutionary phase that is now coming to an end, which means that something new must be born from it. The Christ myth itself must give birth to another dimension, and this dimension concerns the role of the feminine. As the story of Christ is currently understood, Jesus is seen as an embodiment of the divine man, born of a virgin womb and untarnished by sexuality. In the popular story, Jesus has no sexual encounter or attachment to women whatsoever. He stands alone as the proud and potent symbol of the patriarchy that sculpted this understanding of his life. However, without wishing to offend exponents of the popular version of Jesus' story, this interpretation of Jesus is somewhat sterile in terms of its connection to human sexuality. In the Christ myth, Jesus is pitted against sexuality in the form of the devil, and the devil has obvious connections to the feminine through the earlier myth of Eve and the serpent in the Garden of Eden. The 37th city of tenderness, and tenderness is a quality most often associated with the exchange of love between a parent and a child. Tenderness, in particular, is an archetypal motherly essence. Jesus himself is universally connected with the figure of the Lamb, whose essence is represented by the 37th city. This Lamb has a deep symbolism with our coming age because it represents the spirit of surrender to an overwhelming inner power. The sacrificial lamb corresponds to the giving up of identification with outmoded outlooks and the embrace of a wider reality that lies beyond our current view. We, humanity, are the lamb, and the universal spirit holds us in tenderness. We are the lamb. Okay? As individuals, I'm going to read that. Okay, well, the very thing that terrifies us the most will utterly transform us if we can just trust it. It is the source of our sexuality, the dark feminine shadow place within every human being that contains the greatest mystery of who we are and what we can one day become. On an individual level, yin and yang, blah, 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 Mary Magdalene. Okay, on an individual level, marriage concerns the inner balance and union of yin and yang within each human being. The Christ myth must therefore reflect this inner union through the marriage of Christ and his sacred bride. This bride is represented by Mary Magdalene. The modern resurgence of ideas that explore Christ's connection to the figure of the Magdalene, can be seen as a reflection of the resurgence of the repressed divine feminine. The city of tenderness is the awakened aura of this mystical union tenderness. Okay, of this mystical union. Since tenderness is an energy devoid of tension or sexuality, it is in fact the transcendence of sexuality. A great paradox emerging out of the 37th city, the divine feminine will primarily enter the world through, I don't agree with everything that this fuck says. I really don't. There's a lot of shit in here, especially Darwinism, that I don't align with. And that's one statement I will not align with. So, and I'm not going to say it out loud. Because I'm not going to bring that power in. So the collective imbalance of the feminine archetype is not to be found in women, but in men. The counterbalance to this is the rising of the masculine force of independence in women. So you can go on to read more. This is one of the keys that kind of irritate the shit out of me because it's coming from a man and he's already a mutation. So we're just going to go with that. Where they can't speak. I don't believe that men have the ability to speak on the divine feminine without centering themselves. So, but the last of the 6 root race was about men coming into the divine feminine and embracing that. And then right now in the short period of Satan, what we have is the rise of the patriarchy one more time to give us all a whiplash. You have to, in order to heal the ancestral wounds, you have to, or curses, the generational curses, you have to experience them yourself. You cannot heal a curse that you have not walked through. So collectively, we are walking through all of the ancestral sanskaras, curses, and wounds. Same thing. All right. So they're all brought to the surface so that we can heal it. And the biggest issue was patriarchy, or the imbalance of the masculine energy. So the 37th city is unique as the city among these cities in it that it does not manifest through a single individual. It is the heart of the human family, drawing all individuals into its infinite, soft, and loving embrace. It is not a force outside of humanity, as we have assumed for so many eons, but it is our collective inner nature, okay? As a vital aspect of the codon ring family known as the Ring of Divinity, the 37th gene key is a very powerful, and its powerful programming partner has some very powerful genetic programming companions. The 22nd city of grace, the 36th city of compassion, and the 63rd city of truth. Each of these codes brings an eventual manifestation of the full divine being into the world. And that is its purpose right now. So Richard Rudd wrote this book saying it's going to be the 6 root race. He's a whitewashed fool. Just like every other mystic that we have as an esoteric teacher is a whitewashed fool. Even Manly P. Hall, who was awakened by an indigenous being, but still, because of whitewashing and not having awareness of Tartaria and what all the megalithic buildings were actually for, which is what we call whitewashing, okay, historical propaganda, they are unaware that we'd already, and just completely fucking disillusioned to what the shaman was. The entire world was shamanic, was in harmony with the moon, with the sun, with nature, and we already had the 1,000 years, which is 100,000 fucking years, but the 1,000-year reign of Christ. And now we are in the final, the last vestiges of bringing everything of the Kali Yuga, of bringing everything that is in our collective shadow to the surface to be healed so that we can become a sovereign being, so that we ultimately become an atomic, nuclear, individuated, toroidal biospiritual field. It's a mouthful, but we just say a nuclear atomic being, a star. You become a star, which means you become celestial. And that's what we're here to do. That's the new earth, is the celestial, which is us moving beyond this hologram. the way that it's been. It's not even going to be that we're in a third dimensional experience the way that it's been in this dense mineral state. We're going to transcend it and be in the fifth dimensional state, which is the plane of Sanat Kumar, who was the king of Shambhala, which is the inner temple, okay? Which the king of Shambhala, Sanat Kumar is the king of Venus. Venus, which is the semi-etheric plane, which is the plasma, which is the first state of matter, and then it descends into physical, which is Saturn. So, like I said in the beginning, Saturn cut his father's testicles, which means the etheric realm, the etheric body of the planet was severed. And from that severing came Venus, the etheric, the throat chakra, the Buddhic plane, the higher mind of the cosmic being. And then descended all of the lower planets to create what we call the physical structure, or Saturn's realm, the 64 cubits. So, of expression, the binary. But the thing is, that's only 2% of our genetic makeup. And the 98% is plasma, which is Venusian or etheric in nature. Plasma. And that's where we ascend to. And that is the new body, the new Jerusalem, is the plasma body, which is why we hear it spoke about so much in the collective at this time and period, because we are ending this Saturnian reign and moving into the Venusian plane, which is the etheric realm, which is our 5D earth, which we are the new earth leaders of. Because we'll be shifting into that form. Not everybody, but a good amount of people. All you have, there's not a whole lot of requirements. There's different levels for different people. Okay, but anyways, he wrote his book thinking of the sixth root race. We're not the sixth root race. We're the seventh. That's just from white. They're whitewashed privilegedness, not paying attention, not looking deeper into things, and also being a part of the Golden Dawn and the Illuminati. Just helps. And they're trying to create their one world order agenda and, reorient the timelines with CERN. And now they're making a bigger CERN so that they can keep trying to collapse time and fold in on itself. But hey, we live in an observational reality. And whenever you have enough people on the plane that are observing themselves and know themselves, to know thyself is to be the change, to be the way. That's why Jesus said, I am the way, I am the light. Follow me. Not to idle me, but to follow me. Follow my footsteps. Do what I do. Put on your fucking Jesus shoes and get walking. 40 days and 40 nights in the desert. Get to know yourself, right? So anyways, we have the ability to direct the collective into right orientation, into harmony. And you inverse harmony with the cosmos. But this is the greatest test. Is who is going to follow Jesus? Jupiter. Who's going to follow the heart and trust the heart? Above all, trust the heart. Right? No need for external validation. No need for you letting your body be used as a tool. Right? By interdimensional beings. No need to sell your soul. Just be fully connected to source. So it's the journey. Many will be called, few will answer. And even fewer will follow through. I am. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, you guys. I love you so much. I do. I might be an asshole sometimes when I make videos. Don't take it too personal, please. These are I'm channeling spirit. My spirit. So, and I wake up in a different energy every day. Damn near every day, I'm in a different energy. Much love. Hey, brother. Hey, Peter. I love that you were in here. I am because we are. That's right. I am because we are the greater body. That's right. So, Sun is in Jinki 61. line 4. We got 2 more days. So today's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Sunday night, Monday, the sun will be ingressing into Jinki 60. We'll talk about that then. And then, the moon is in Jinki 47 right now. When we started this live, the moon was in Jinki 47. That's why we were talking about transfigurational shit so much. Ooh, baby, 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 baby. I didn't even look at that. Look into Jinki 47, transfiguration, the city of transfiguration. And Mercury, we definitely talked about emanation, which was it's a start codon. It's the only fucking start codon in the DNA, right? Cosmic DNA. When you're looking at sidereal placements with the Jinkis, you're looking at cosmic DNA shifts. Okay, genetic shifts. Anyways, Jinki 41, where the Mercury is at, is the only start codon. I started a revolution today. All right, and then Venus is in Jinki 60, where the sun will be on Monday. And then Mars is in Jinki 54, line 2. It'll still be there until next week. And 54 is the city of ascension. 60 is the city of justice. 41, the city of emanation. The moon is transfiguration, 47. And impeccability, where the earth sign is at, in opposition to the sun, is impeccability. Impeccable. And then 61 is sanctity, the holy of holies. The palace. It's really the palace within. All right. Thank you guys all for being here, for watching the last 2.5 hours, 3 hours, I don't know, a long time. And thank you guys all in the YouTube for being here and watching. And I hope that you found this insightful, inspiring, and if not, anything else entertaining, maybe a little educational if you're into esoterics. Again, my perspective, my experience, my gnosis. If it differs from yours, that's okay. Don't come after me. This is my lived experience and teachings. And so I just wanted to share, bring some clarity for the day. I love you. And if you want to work with me for one-on-one, my links are in my bio. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this free workshop lecture of the day, of the week, of the month. I don't know. I love you all. Bye. Let me just... Aww. Thank you.